Welcome to the 5th episode of the Knights of Everflame, a special 8-part adventure to celebrate the launch of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I'm Jason Bulmahn, Director of Game Design at Paizo and one of the lead designers of the game. I'll be your host and game master for this session, but before we begin, let's take a moment to throw it around the table and introduce our cast.
Hi, I'm Rachel Seeley.
Hey, I'm Erika Fermina.
Hi, I'm Aki.
Hello, I'm Gina DeVivo.
Hello, Jeremy Stephen Walker.
Well, I resisted the urge to introduce the head of Eric. All right.
I would like to roll a natural 20 to crit on our
Listen,
D.
yeah, this is the dice that he bought me. I'm going to roll them, and then look at that. It was a 20.
Now that we've gotten to know our players, it's time to get started. When we last left our intrepid band of adventurers, 5 heroes were sent to Lastwall to join the Watch. You were shipped north at the side of Lieutenant Ellison and Private Carr, shipped there to be trained at Castle Everstand. But upon arriving, you found the castle under attack. Flames rising up out of the village, fire and smoke coming out of the castle. The lieutenant gave you one task. She swore you in his knights right there on the spot and tasked you with going to Casson, her hometown, taking with you a bunch of refugees from the town, escorting them to safety. Meanwhile, the lieutenant and Private Carr turned and entered the castle to fulfill their duty. For the next 3 days, you escorted a group of refugees, over 20 of them, to the south. Private Unkir, Father Famar, both in tow, trying to get them to the south to the town of Casson, evading the dead that were hot on your tail. Arriving at the town, you found that the town itself didn't seem really all that interested in your story. Mayor Ventnor seemed to not believe you, saying that Lastwall could never possibly fall. But you did find allies in town. You met Mayor Uptill, a rather eccentric ex-mayor of the town, who took you to his good friend, Holgast, a wizard who lived on the outskirts. Together, the two of them listened to your tale of undead rising up out of the graves and bringing ruin to Lastwall. They suggested you go speak with Arnama Lestrid, the ranger who lives on the edge of town, an incredibly capable and skilled woman. She took in your story and immediately set out to go look for the dead. You were able to get a moment of respite, but then, soon after the dead did arrive, Arnama came racing back into town to tell you that the dead were almost upon you. You raced out to meet them, facing a terrible Minotaur skeleton. Defeating it, you brought the proof into the council. The council finally believed you, and allowed you to spend time to fortify the town. For 2 days, you built barricades, you reinforced gates, you dug trenches, you set traps, you did everything you could. The folk in town helped in every way that they could. Some were being trained, others just helped to build defenses. But then the night came. The siege of Casson began. Undead came pouring up to the city. A horde of zombies first approached the north gate, led by 2 giant zombies that ended up using other zombies as missiles, throwing them through the air to strike targets and land within the city to cause havoc. Meanwhile, 2 other zombie giants came assaulting the other gates. In the span of moments, all 3 gates leading into the town were damaged beyond repair. You found yourselves in dire straits as you faced off against the giants. The zombies themselves were no meager threat by themselves, but the giants, they were terrifying. They were swinging hunks of dead log and dead flesh at you, crushing everything that got in their way. Only through your brave heroics were you able to manage to defeat them. One outside the gates, another, as a matter of fact, one outside the north gate by Iculus almost sacrificing himself. He was nearly killed. The zombie nearly put an end to your brave champion. Then at the west gate, guards being murdered left and right. Omelette came racing up to try and put an end to the one that was attacking it by itself. You only learned about the terror at the East Gate after, but when it was all said and done, all 4 of the hulking giants were slain. One by the townsfolk using a powerful ballista. However, a poisonous miasma was filling into the town, and you had to retreat to the town temple. There, its sanctified ground was the only place that kept you safe. More undead harried the town as the night wore on, but as dawn began to break, the first light of it creeping over the horizon, more undead poured into the town. Skeletons began attacking all of the gates. While many of them were easily handled, the east gate crumbled under the assault of a skeletal giant, which just crushed any guards that stood before it and stomped up towards the church. You faced off against the skeletons. They were climbing all over the barrier. The skeleton itself slamming everything back and forth. Meanwhile, Holgast, who was out at the east gate, soon found himself surrounded by skeletons. They were marching up all around him, and he dropped a fireball at his own feet. But as the flames subsided, a dark figure rode out, coming at him with a hatchet. You defeated the skeleton, and quickly rode towards the east gate, hoping to find out what had happened to your friend. There, out of the fire and smoke, rode a figure on a black horse. Mounted there, you saw the headless body of a dwarf. Tied to its waist by its hair, you could see the severed head of Private Carr riding down upon you. And as the headless knight rode toward you, it flung forward at you, a head spinning, its beard and long hair flying through the night, the severed head of Holgast. That is where we are going to pick up. Exactly there. This knight is riding down upon you. It has killed your friend. It is the 5 of you facing it. There is no one else around. Can I get you to roll initiative?
Okay.
All right.
How much more can we take?
Oh yeah, Scout's warning.
There's plenty of warning that this guy is coming for you. I'm going to go around and ask what all of your initiatives are. Linnaeus, what do you have?
31.
Liz.
17.
Iculus.
30 plus the scout's warning, so 31.
All right, we'll have Linnaeus go first. Omelette.
33.
Is it everyone rolling 20s to start the session? I see how it is. Tauriel.
Not everyone.
No.
21.
21. Very good.
I rolled above it. I rolled a 10.
All right.
Higher than I have been rolling for initiative.
All
I
right.
rolled crap on the dice. We need to have a talk, you and I.
Yeah.
So,
Cleanse them.
seeing the severed head of your friend and companion soar through the air, you spring into action. Omelette, you go first. This Headless Horseman is 50 feet away. Behind him, fire from the buildings that are burning from a fireball that launched. He's riding out of the smoke and flames with you. In one hand, he wields a hatchet. In the other, a long sword. The horse gallops forward of its own evil accord. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna sudden charge.
All right. Sudden charge will allow you to run right up to it, and you are able to attack. However, when you draw near, waves of fear wash out over you. Can you give me a will saving throw as you get near it?
I can. 31.
So a 31 is more than enough to overcome the fear washing out of this thing.
So I feel that wave, and with every close step I get to it, they just say, "We look forward to sending you back to your grave."
You go running up to the Headless Horseman,
Yep.
axe in hand.
Axe in hand.
You have sudden charge. That was
Rolling
2
with
of your
the
actions,
fire.
and you may attack.
Okay. 27.
A 27.
What?
Oh, crap.
That's right.
We're just screwed, y'all.
Not enough to hit.
What is this thing?
Try stopping. I'll reroll right at the top.
Oh my.
Ooh, wow.
Right away, the point gets spent.
If you ain't going to be a hero now, you gotta be a hero when. Less. I die.
And I'm dead. All right. So
less.
you still have one action left. You can still try and swing again.
Okay. All right. I'll just put I don't even know what would. Not 20, right? That's all that's.
Well, you're at a penalty of 5, so, I mean,
Yeah, but.
you're going to need to roll very high.
No.
All right.
No.
You go swinging, and your blade strikes armor, and the black cloak that's on this thing gets kind of ripped away as you hit it. And underneath, as you rip it away, you see the relatively new, mostly intact, it's dirty, armor of a Lastwall knight.
They made these things real tick then.
It's Car.
I know.
No, it is Car.
Yeah.
It's not just his head, it's his body.
Yeah.
Linnaeus, it is your turn.
Religion check, please.
All right?
I want to know if it has any weaknesses and what type of being this is now that
All right.
he's not alive. 23.
23. You don't know much about this thing, but you have heard rumor of a type of undead called a Dullahan. They are in essence headless corpses that wander around searching for more heads to add to their collection.
Oh.
They are made through the most foul and profane rites.
Charming.
The only thing you know about it is that it will heal wounds dealt to it, and but damage that is good in nature, holy damage, will hurt it more. That is one of your actions. You have 2 left.
Going to take a risk.
Okay.
Going to cast Heal at the second step, so it's 2 actions. But I'm going to cast it on the head.
Very good. You cast it at its head. Its head is glowing with red eyes, so it doesn't look dead. It looks like part of it. It's just severed. All right. So that is going to deal.
1d8 plus 8.
So this is from the staff.
Yes.
All right.
13.
13. I am going to get a will save, which I'm going to fail. Actually, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah, you are.
So the holy healing energy washes over it, and it smokes and burns a bit, but it's still up and moving. All right, that was Linnaeus. Iculus.
Assessing this thing coming at us.
Yeah, sitting on the ground in front of you is the severed head of Holgast.
I'd like to do the spell of Lay on Hands.
Lay on hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would have had enough time to get your focus point back between those fights. Yeah.
Okay.
So you run up and let life energy course through you. You reach out and touch it, and it's going to make a saving throw, but it's unfortunately going to make it, so it's only going to take half damage. So go ahead and roll 3d6.
It's going to be 4, 5, 7.
So 7. All right, and I rolled a 3, and that's actually going to fail now that I think about it. All right, so he's going to take the full 7. That puts him up to 20. His armor class drops by 2 for 1 round.
I thought I failed.
All right. Unfortunately, he now goes. So he was going to charge up to you, but 2 of you have done him the favor of charging up to him. So he is going to swing at Oatmeal.
Oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
You mean omelet?
I'm going to walk that back. He's going to swing at Omelet. Oatmeal. I just read that. All right. Yeah, no, all right.
That's only my mom is allowed to call me that.
That's right. He is going to swing at Omelet, and he is going to swing his longsword at you. Here it comes. That is an armor class of 31.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not a crit though.
All right. That is going to do 15 points of damage.
Hit.
Yeah. All right. The next thing he is going to do is he's going to reverse that blade. No, he's going to swing at you again. And this one's only going to be a 21.
Doesn't hit.
All right. And with this third attack, he is going to, with the other hand, swing his hatchet at you. At Iculus, because you're up there as well. Here comes the hatchet, and I rolled a 20.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
How about you not, though?
That's going to be a 27, which is a hit, which means it is a critical hit. I'm going to go ahead and roll that damage on you. The hatchet sinks into your neck. Arterial blood starts spurting out. It's like he's trying to take your head. You are going to take 26 points of damage.
Okay.
All right.
It is what it is.
Not
That-
feeling super optimistic here.
It is what it is.
That is his action.
We got this.
So, that was him. Tauriel, it is now your turn.
Oh, seeing all this happen, I'm just going to hurriedly bring out my violin.
All right.
Inspired courage. And then I'm going to. How far away am I from Iculus?
It's about, he's about 45 feet away.
Dang it.
Yeah, he's a bit far. They both went running way up there to make attacks.
Okay.
This is what we do.
This is
Then I'm going to use one move action
All right.
to move a little bit forward.
You close a whole bunch of the distance, yeah?
I don't want to get too close.
All right. Well, how close do you want to get?
30. I want to be 30 feet away.
No problem.
Okay, cool.
Done.
And then I'm gonna hit it with my sling if I can.
All right. So your sling goes shooting out, throwing a rock.
A dirty 20.
A dirty 20. A dirty 20 is not going to be enough. It bounces off his armor. You can hear it ping as it goes flying off into the night.
Okay, then that's my turn.
You still have one action. You had your sling out. You moved and you attacked.
No, and I did the.
Oh, that's right. You inspired courage.
I did.
Never mind.
that
You are all good.
Everyone within 60 feet.
oh yay.
We have now reached the point where they're teaching me the rules. All right. Well done, everyone. Liz, it is your turn.
Yes, Liz is going to mark their prey
Yes?
with a hunt prey, and then they are
To be
going-
clear, that's the Headless Horseman that you're marking?
Yeah, sure.
Gotcha. All right.
Why not?
Something else.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
Not
they're
yet.
going to take their hunted shot.
I'm gonna have a heart attack by the time this is over.
Well, I hope not.
No, please go on. But why?
Listen.
You have a thing.
You gotta get new dice.
You have a
My
thing.
dice are fine.
Are they?
I haven't landed the last 4 hits I've done, so don't worry.
Not much better, but I'll take it for now. That would be a. Oh, that's also a dirty 20.
It's not going to hit.
The first one is a big.
If you ever want to try any of
The arrow goes soaring past and does not manage to connect. You fire your second arrow and
That's a little bit better. That is going to be 29 minus 5, but that's not going to hit. If a 27 did not hit, then that's not going to hit.
But its AC is low now.
It is. It's lowered by 2.
lowered by
Let's see,
2.
29 minus 5, though, is it 20?
Did you add your
Oh, 29, so
25.
30 minus what's 25?
25. It's just going to miss.
Oh my god.
Literally scrapes off his armor.
One.
Yeah, he's been missed by 1 twice.
I'm going to take my
28.
third shot.
This one almost needs to be a 20 to hit.
Yeah, it has to be a natural 20 to hit.
Well,
Arrows go winging past the Headless Horseman.
this guy.
That is the end of Liz's turn.
Very little up.
We are back to the top of the order, and I will name you by your correct breakfast food. Omelette, it is your turn.
Breakfast is for every meal of the day.
I've decided with each fight I'm just going to pick a new breakfast.
Right, that's a better one. Hey!
All about the rainbow.
31.
Yes.
That will hit.
Yay.
Get him. Get him on it. Split some eggs over his
God! That one's cocked. Same number, though. Ish. Flat now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 14.
14 points of damage. Your
Positive.
your axe slams into him, dealing some positive damage. He is wounded, but still fighting.
I go again.
Second attack.
No.
No. All right. Would you like to try a third?
Yeah, 19. Yes, I would.
You have one final option that I'll point out to you because we're not playing on a grid. It's kind of hard to see. Both Iculus and Omelet are fighting against the Headless Horseman, but you're not on opposite sides of it, so you're not flanking it. So if you take a move, you might be able to flank it, but you, of course, don't know if it has attack of opportunity. So you might be opening yourself to an attack if you do that. I'm going to totally leave that in your hands. I'm not trying to suggest a course of action. I'm just saying that is something that is not currently happening.
That would be my last
That'd be
action.
your last action.
Moving and getting slaughtered.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine this thing is pretty, swifty and could
Most likely,
probably
yeah.
take a nice swing. So I'm going to
Private-
leave the flanking
private-
to you, friend.
Private Carr was a trained soldier.
And a dwarf. We take a good swipe when we can. So no, I'm swinging again for the final one. Just a Hail Mary.
Bring it on.
Yeah, but it's negative 10, so no.
No. All right. Your blades ring against the armor. You did manage to cause some damage to the Dullahan, but not enough. It's still up and fighting. Linnaeus.
2 questions. Is the horse undead?
The horse looks alive but possessed. It looks like a living horse, but its eyes are glowing red with some sort of diabolical energy.
I would like to cast command on the horse.
All right.
It must make a will save.
All right. Are you within range? Have you moved forward?
How far away is it?
If you haven't moved forward yet, it's 50 feet.
Oh, yes, then I'm going to move forward.
All right. So you move and cast command.
And then I'm going to cast command.
All right. What command are you giving the horse?
Stop
All right.
abruptly.
Unfortunately, the horse is going to get a 24 on its will save, so I think it's going to ignore your command.
Peanuts!
Is that the horse's name?
No, it's omelet.
Nobody's getting your name right today.
All right.
Iculus, it has come to your turn.
Well, I do what a champion does. I fight.
All right.
And I'm going to swing the bastard sword.
All right.
It's going to be a 27. He's undead, so it'll be a 28.
You're getting a bonus on attack rolls against undead? You normally just get a bonus.
Oh, the damage. Okay,
rolls.
27.
We also do get a plus
oh,
1
yeah.
from my Inspire Courage.
Yeah, you were within range, so 28.
28.
That's a hit. So you get a D12 plus a D4. Did he damage you? Or did he miss you? No, he hit you with the hatchet right in the neck.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no. Yeah, which means you get a bonus too. So it's you get your
D12.
D12 plus D6.
Okay,
No, that's-
where am I? All right.
You're
Right.
good. Just the 2 dice.
Just the 2?
Yeah. There you go.
Just the 2.
Yep. Plus, your 4 plus another 2.
Okay, so that's 3, 7, 9.
Your blade bites into him, but he's still fighting on. Every time you hit his dead flesh, his flesh is like hardened leather, and like just black sand pours out of him every time you hit him.
Ugh.
I'm going.
Poor
again.
car.
Swing again. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okay. That would be a 25 minus 5, so 20.
20 is not going to do it, no. You're down to that third action. This is really a swing for the fences against this guy. His AC is really high.
And I can't do this lay on hands anymore.
No, you've done it once already.
We already know there's a flanking option. Right there, us up at the front, us chargers just getting smacked around.
And there's really no way I can do this again without a nat 20, huh?
Probably. I mean, there might be an outside chance. No, there isn't. No. That I'm thinking about your bonus. Yeah, you're pretty sure you cannot hit this guy without a nat 20 on the third attack.
Okay. I'm going to flank.
So you're going to move to the flank.
Move to the flank.
All right, you go moving off to the flank position, and, the others predicted it, and they weren't wrong. His hatchet comes flying out for you the moment you drop your defenses to move to a better position, and he is going to take that swing at you. Here it comes. Armor class 30.
Oof. Okay.
The hatchet is going to bite into you for 16 points of damage.
Okay.
Scouting blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he now goes.
Son of a biscuit.
He takes his first attack.
I'm throwing swears at him.
He takes his first attack at, let's see, who hit him? You both hit him. So he has an equal reason to want to end both of you. He's going to start with Omelet, though. His first attack is going to be with the longsword. This is a 34. Which I believe is a critical hit.
Yeah, it is.
Take 36 points of damage
Holy Christmas.
as his longsword runs you right through.
Can I, liberating step?
The optimism left.
Yes, you can actually. So that you use your reaction, calling upon Shellen's blessing, and you feel a sudden surge. You feel like you're being pushed. Shellen's blessing pushes you out of the way, and you take 7 less damage.
Okay.
That's something.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a lot of something. That ain't nothing, no.
With his second action, he throws his axe. He throws his hatchet, and he's going to throw it at Linnaeus. It goes spinning end over end, blood flicking off of it as it flies through the air, and that is going to be a 22.
Dang it, I didn't put up my shield. Yep.
A 22 will hit.
One.
Take 14 points of damage.
This guy is
And
crushing us.
the moment the hatchet slams into you, he holds his
boy.
hand out and it
Oh.
snaps back to his
Oh,
hand.
okay.
You have a plan.
Sure, it's
He's
one of those.
got a
Don't like
freaking
that.
Am I
Mjolnir.
able to take a
like
reaction
that.
to try and grab it at all?
No. It's clearly magical in nature, and it just snaps back to his waiting hand.
I want that hatchet.
But before it can get back to his hand, he attempts to backhand you. He attempts to backhand Iculus with his third attack. Here it comes. But he's going to miss. That's not enough. His attack roll was way too low to backhand you. So, that is Headless Car's turn. Next, we're going to go to Tauriel. What do you have for me?
Right.
We need some help over here.
Who's looking worse for what right
Let's
now?
just say,
We're both pretty bad.
if I wore an omelet, I'd be quite burned right about now.
First things first. Let's get some courage going. So get some +1s to your attack
To your
rolls.
attack rolls, yeah.
And then I'm going to cast Forbidding Ward on Omelet, which will also, it won't stack with the attack roll, so you still, right? It won't stack?
No, but it gives a bonus on armor class.
It does. It gives you a +1 on armor class.
Okay,
And saving throws.
All right.
thanks so much.
All right. You convey a bonus to Omelet. Liz, what are you
All
up to?
Yep. Pray.
Pray.
Shot. I'm gonna get you. I'm going to get you.
We'll see about that.
All right, that's not terrible. That is a 26 plus 1, 27, which I think misses by just 1.
It's going to miss by just 1.
He's not.
afraid so.
He's not hurt on armor.
No, not anymore.
And then I will take
one
my
round.
second shot. That's not even in the... Oh, well, I could have used you the first time, but whatever. And 28 minus 5, so...
That's going to miss as well, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So that was only
Oh,
one action for
yeah,
you, though.
yeah,
So you do
that
still
was-
have 2.
This guy.
I am going to. Oh man, this is a bad freaking idea, but I gotta burn him while I got him. I pull out a potion from my pack
All right.
and I uncork it and I drink it, and I believe that is all that I can do.
What do your friends see happen when you drink this particular potion?
You see the features of Liz begin to transform as their ears lengthen and then round into instead of the points, it's like a rounded shape, and their face elongates into that of looks maybe like a wild cat of some kind, and their fingers grow into claws, and it almost looks as though they have transformed into some kind of leopard. Black spotted leopard. And
Okay.
they snarl.
Interesting.
I like it.
Wow.
Fascinating.
All right.
Mark one of those off.
Liz has transformed into a cat.
A leopard, very specific.
Leopard, specifically. Omelet, we are back to the top of the order. It is up to you.
I just spit a bunch of blood out of my mouth.
Yeah? On the upside, you are now flanking.
Big, bloody, toothy grin.
Yes.
Would be a nat 20. For 35.
That is absolutely
To
a
hit.
critical hit. Go ahead and roll damage, total it all up, and double it.
Run him through! Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the... So since they're flanking, that knocks down the AC, right?
Yeah, that's what it does. It knocks down
And
the
then
armor
what
class.
did you add the +1 to the... She did? Okay.
Wait, if his AC was
she was
knocked down,
she was at critical hit.
Oh,
She was going to get it regardless. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true.
Wait, how far was his AC knocked down from the flank?
It only applies to the tooth.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
30 damage.
30 and so you rolled and in total up 15 and all right.
Yes.
Awesome. Your axe slices deep into him. You see the armor peel back as the axe slams into him, cutting into his dead, decayed flesh. But he's still standing.
Of course he is.
The axe cut deep into his torso.
Okay.
Some bits of bear steak fall out. No,
Why you do?
Elias.
why do we need that detail? Omelet, you still have 2 more actions.
Take him out. Take him out.
That's not bad.
What did you roll?
28.
28 is a hit.
Yay!
Why not go for another swing?
Oh, that's okay.
That's good.
17.
17 damage. Those 2 hits in combination have done terrific damage to him. He looks very badly beat up now, but he's still standing.
Let's have another go.
Swing for the fences on this one.
Don't really have enough health to run away. Don't have enough actions to drink a potion.
That leaves you with one option. Go
Not
ahead
to
and swing.
mention, my entire ancestry is having a field day right now.
Well, they're worried you're about to join them.
Exactly. The last one, unless his armor class is a...
No.
No, 17.
You know it is not. All right. You swing wildly at the end, your exuberance for scoring 2 hits overcoming you.
But my bleeding out is sort of losing steam.
Linnaeus, it is your turn.
With my staff, am I able to use 3 actions to do a 3-action heal, or is it just a 1 action?
You can do the 3-action heal, but it is still only going to do a D8. Because it's from the staff.
Oh, not the 3?
No, the 3d8 only comes from you. The staff is not of your level.
But it will at least...
Oh, it'll hit everyone for a d8, yeah.
Okay. First, I'd like to... No. Yes, that's all I can do. Okay. All right. Never mind. Ooh, 8!
Hey!
8.
I will
and
take
8
it.
damage if he...
He makes the save, so he will reduce that to
Oh.
half.
Okay, he's going to take only 4, but that's what...
Oh, I'm back up to full. Yay!
That's what
Thank
I've got.
you.
All I've got.
I'm up to 22.
All right. That was Linnaeus. Iculus.
I'm going to tell my big spells.
Gillis pulls back.
Even yet?
Let's finish this. 14, 26. Do I still have the 27?
Hit. Because of the flank.
Yes! I give you a confident head nod.
That's an 11 plus that's a 15 plus 2, 17.
Your blade bites deep into him, but he's still up.
Listen, I drank this potion. I better get to freaking use it. Okay, I'm.
He gets a go first, though.
I know.
That's just the first.
They're not cowards.
It's going to be a 10, 22
Not even
minus
close,
those.
no.
Okay.
That third action is a swing for the fences.
Yeah.
You can try it, but it's probably not going to land.
Roll that natural 20 and see what happens.
He's still alive. And he's got the next turn.
He goes
Yes.
next.
How much damage have we done to him? A lot.
A lot, but his
A lot.
wounds continue to heal.
Remember, he can regenerate.
Go for the head.
But we're doing is positive holy?
No.
No.
Those are different things.
Okay.
Nicholas calls upon Shellen to come down and give the D20. Do you know anything about a D20?
Do you know what a D20 is?
Yeah, no. Mostly about art and beauty and...
He does know what it is! Oh my god! Can't hurt the Sunshine Team! No, sir!
All right, go ahead and roll your damage with your...
Does he get a hero point for his god smiling down on him?
Thank you.
Oh my god!
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm so excited.
What do you have in your hand already?
I got it.
All of the energy
Okay.
just went from my body.
Thank you, Shannon.
No.
Into the tray with you.
Drop it.
Third time's the charm.
That would be a 9 plus 4, be 13 plus 2, right?
15 times 2 is...
You
15
slam
times 2.
into him, and he falls.
Yes!
I literally took this
I want
potion
that
for
hatchet.
nothing.
Oh, you have a serious other problem. His horse is still rampaging around.
Oh.
And
Animal battle.
Yeah, it is actually racing forward. So your blade slams into it. A private car, what is the sad remains of private car, tumbles from his saddle and falls to the ground. His steed, driven mad with rage, starts rampaging around, kicking out, and he is going to hit you for... It only does 8.
Okay.
And then he's going to kick out at you.
Sure.
And that is going to be a 22.
Just me. Oh no, because I got armor classed up, so it doesn't hit.
It's gonna miss. And then it's going to take one last hoof, but that's going to miss as well. All right. The horse has gone. Tauriel, the demon steed, is still rampaging about.
All right. Well, first,
Kept in check by the Dullahan, but now it is raging about.
I have a question. If I choose to sustain forbidding ward,
Yeah.
does that mean I cannot?
Well, first of all, the other target is dead. So you would have to recast it now.
Okay.
Because the Dullahan is dead. That was the other target.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will inspire courage,
All right, yep.
and then I will do forbidding ward against the horse and omelet.
All right. You ward omelet from the horse. Liss.
So Liz lets out a primal animal scream, that sounds like a leopard, and then starts charging forward. And I'm going to use, I think it's going to take me 2 move actions to get up close to the horse, correct?
Actually, the horse kind of charged forward a bit. It's only going to be 1.
So I am going to, in that case, I am going to take a bite attack and a claw attack at it.
All right. Go ahead and make your bite attack.
I have always liked.
Finally!
This is the 3rd natural 20 I've rolled on this die.
Wow.
Stick with this one.
I like it. It's a good die. All right, let's see. Oh gosh, I got so excited and now I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah,
So that does what?
that's 1d8 plus
D8 plus your strength.
strength. Yes. So that is a 6. 12.
12.
Yes. 6 is the base, and then 12 times.
What's your strength modifier?
Oh, it was only plus 1, so I rolled 5 plus 1.
Oh, 5 plus 1 is 6.
6.
All right, yeah.
So times 2. That's
so
12.
12 points of damage.
Yes.
All right. You like run up and bite its neck and start gnawing into the horse. Go ahead and make your next attack.
Let's see. That is a 12 plus a 7. That is going to be a 19. Oh, sorry. Yes, 19.
That hits.
Great. I am going to do 1d6 plus my strength against team. That will be a 7.
That does it. The horse goes down.
Nice.
You
Love
run
it.
up and just like gnaw into this horse and just start ripping it asunder. You grab it by its neck and bite into it, the horse blood pouring down you. Your claws rip it open, and the horse whinnies, the red light fading from its eyes like a mist, and it falls to the ground.
I have myself a nice little meal.
I want that hatchet. I want to see if it'll throw and then come back for me. Maybe.
So, in the aftermath of the battle, you look about.
It's done.
You're looking. You look to your left. You
How
look to
is
your
that
right.
miasma?
The miasma is fading with the rising of the dawn. However, as you look about, you see the remains of poor Holgast, the remains of Private Carr, and you look out down the street through the houses that are still aflame. And in the rising sun, just beyond the gates, in the distance, out between the trees, there is a dark figure.
Another one.
And as the sun rises, it vanishes, just forms into mist and vanishes with the rising sun.
The Lich.
Possibly.
He was watching.
I have a rather macabre but possibly the only good idea
You're
that we can
You're-
possibly use.
You're interrupted by the guards pouring out of the church, and they start a bucket brigade to attempt to put out the fires from the fireball. There are people screaming and crying. There are still people in pain at the various gates. You couldn't hear them until the fog started to subside. It seemed to muffle sound as well. You couldn't even hear what was happening at the other gates. And the city is still in a bit of chaos.
I think that unfortunately we have to be very careful about how we bury the bodies of the dead.
If I can go to sleep, I can pick up gentle repose and make sure that at least one does not come back.
We should definitely make sure that it's either Private Carr or Holgast. I do not think either of them want to be
We could also try to burn the bodies.
burning them, dismembering them, separating them, something, but we definitely cannot bury them as they are.
It didn't appear to work very well with Private Carr, unfortunately.
Are they still a leopard? Are they still?
Oh, I think I can drop that at will.
It
Or
takes a little bit, but yeah, it eventually
I've
fades
probably
away.
been wandering around, sort of
Okay.
nudging the dead bodies, checking up on things, and
Seeing
kind of
if-
just generally prowling the perimeter, like maybe obsessively looking out at the horizon towards where I saw the lich until the transformation lets up. And when the transformation releases, what happens is it almost lifts like smoke from Lys's body, and their exhaustion from the transformation. They are clothed. They are not naked or anything like that, but they are pouring with sweat. and their mouth is covered in blood.
Omelette who's been sort of sitting on the steps of the church to sort of, right, come over to me. Yeah, we'll just have a bit of a sit down for ourselves. So
You're kind of not alone. Like, there's a lot of guards who have been up fighting all night, and everyone is just kind of arrayed around on the steps of the temple. Some of the guards have just kind of leaned back and closed their eyes. They're clearly still alive, but they are exhausted. Everyone has been up all night fighting.
Except for that stupid mayor who is sitting fat and happy, or skinny and happy in his
Well, he may
estate.
be dead. You don't know. We need to check up on him.
That,
Oh, is his
I mean,
house
that
on
came
fire?
That came from his part of town, right?
Well, it came from his part of town, but remember, his house is actually up near the water.
Okay.
The Holgas Fireball was right near the east gate.
Okay, right.
So that's where that was. So we're going to go into a little bit of a more narrative mode here, just because you've been in a fight for several sessions now, almost in a row. And what happens is the townsfolk quickly begin to try and assess the situation. This is led primarily by the captain of the guards, who had kind of a turn of heart in the middle of the fight.
Good.
And started helping you. That was Captain Rennet. At the same time, Father Prast is going around giving last rites to bodies that are being brought to him. All of the dead are being assembled at the church. All of the undead corpses are being assembled. They're being taken by wagon out to a pit in the forest nearby
Everything
to be
must be
disposed
burned.
of. Yeah.
Including our own.
I'm going to grab Holgoth and carry him into town.
You bring Holgath's body into town, and when people see it, many begin to openly weep. It's clear that the old wizard was kind of a town fixture, and although he was eccentric and he kind of got lost in his magic, it's clear that he was truly beloved, and the townsfolk are truly sad to see him pass.
Perhaps we send him down the river? A hero's funeral, as it were?
Honestly, unfortunately, I think we should
We should.
burn all the
Oh,
bodies.
I mean, I shoot an arrow
burn
on
the
fire
Oh.
at the boat.
Yes, we can do a
That kind of
Love
a
that.
thing. Yes.
Can I go to the tower?
You can. You
Drop his
can.
body off and then go to the tower.
All right. Yeah, you can make your way there. Meanwhile, there are wounded and hurt people pouring in from all over the town. Some undead did kind of discriminately just kind of get into town. Some climbed the walls and stuff and went and fought people like in their homes and backyards. Most of these were just simple skeletons or zombies or something, nothing too dangerous. But there was like one or two ghouls mixed in there, and some people did get pretty badly hurt. But all of the undead were put to the sword. The town managed to survive. All told, there was well over 50 undead that were destroyed in the battle. Probably closer to 60 or 65 when the full accounting is done. Asina and her wife open up the 7 silvers as soon as dawn is there and begin handing out water and what food they have to all of the people who fought all night, making sure that you're all fed and have water. The former mayor, Jonark, makes an appearance. He hid up in his shack kind of all night. He after all the battle planning was done, he bid you adieu and went to go hunker down. He said his fighting days were long over, but as soon as it's over, he's out there and there to help.
Any sign
in whatever way I can.
Any sign of Aventa?
Not yet. So eventually, Private Gelby comes back to town. The plucky goblin that helped you prepare all of the defenses clearly suffered a broken arm in the fight and has it like in a little bit of a cloth sling, and is like, "Sorry, I'd salute, but well, I guess I can salute with the wrong arm, but it's the best I can
worry
do."
about it.
Yeah, we're okay.
You have fought well. We are glad that you made it.
Sorry, all the defenses didn't hold. We did our best, but they got in the city anyway.
You were already woefully underprepared as it was. The fact that we were able to hold them off as long as we were is a credit to you.
she kind of blushes. She's kind of like, oh well. I mean, I do what I can. They let me handle supplies and requisition the warehouses and.
I think they should give you a promotion after this.
Well, I mean, the captain was very impressed with how the defenses came together. I mean, he seems to be now. It was. I mean, yesterday he wasn't so encouraging, but today he seems pretty happy. So, I mean, I think that's probably has something to do with the fact that he's alive. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm gonna go get this looked at because it hurts.
You're an honorable soldier.
Yeah. Well, I try. Thank you. Yes, I do my best. So Gelby makes her way to the temple to get her arm looked at. There are a few notable absences. You don't see Arnama anywhere. As a matter of fact, you didn't see her during the fight either. She came back, told you all about the undead that were attacking the town, but the moment that was done and you were starting to prepare defenses, she helped Liz do some training. But after that, when it came time for the fight, she actually kind of bid you all farewell and went off into the woods to hunt any undead that might be getting too close, trying to slow their advance. And you have not heard from her since.
I hope she is all right. She was brilliant, don't you think?
Why would she go into the woods and not help us?
She was
helping us.
She was fighting the skeletons there over.
It's possible that the numbers that reached us were greatly thinned by her efforts, perhaps.
This is true.
All right, so over at Holgast's tower, you arrive there and find the door slightly ajar. It looks like Holgast didn't close up when he left.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, the leaning tower is swaying lightly in the morning breeze.
As long as it doesn't fall on me. Oh, I'm gonna go knock on the door.
The door slowly opens. I mean, it was slightly ajar, and inside you see the owl sitting kind of on the perch.
Oh, hello. I'm so sorry. I don't quite remember your name. Can I come in?
The owl kind of looks at you funny and hops off the perch and kind of flutters over to a pile of books, atop of which is an old pair of spectacles, and just kind of nuzzles them.
Can I help you put them on? No?
The owl doesn't seem to want to be touched. It kind of shies away. That you're not sure that birds have incredible facial expressions, but if this one had one, it would be kind of quiet sadness. It just kind of is looking down at the glasses, and next to the glasses on the table right next to it is one of Holgast's pipes and a pouch of his tobacco, and the owl is just kind of sitting there, and from there hops over to a perch that would have sat over his shoulder, allowing the owl to kind of read whatever Holgast was reading. And he just kind of sits there and kind of tucks his head underneath a wing.
I know you probably want to be alone. I just thought that you should probably know. I mean, you probably already do. I don't know. You're probably very smart. He did his best. He did a lot. He helped a lot of people, and I'm sorry. I'm not very good at comforting people, let alone animals. You probably want to stay here and not have anyone bother you, so I'll leave soon, but I wanted you to know that if you'd like, you are more than welcome to come with us.
The owl kind of untucks its head from underneath its wing and just kind of looks at you and hops from one spot to the other, and it doesn't get near you really, but it does kind of hop over to kind of a corner of the room where there's because the place is literally filled with perches for the owl, and it hops over to a perch kind of over near a corner and looks back at the corner and kind of nuzzles with its beak an old staff that's kind of sitting in the corner that kind of tips and falls over right into your hands.
Oh.
And the owl looks at you. And then flies off.
Oh, okay.
Going upstairs out of your sight, leaving the staff in your hand.
Goodbye. If you need us, well, you'll have to come and find us, but we'll always be willing to help. Thank you.
The owl soars off, leaving you alone with the staff in hand.
Should I shut the door? I'm going to shut the door. And she shuts the front door and just, holds the staff.
All right.
Okay. Well, now I've got two. And she walks back to with her two staffs, crossing on her back. She walks back to the town center.
All right. You make your way back to the town center, staff in hand.
I've got two now.
Yeah. All right.
I would like to, if we are still not doing quite yet Olga's burial or ceremony or anything, I would actually like to make my way to Arnama's cabin to see if there are any signs of her at all, or maybe sit and wait for a little bit to see if she comes back.
All right. You go and check in at her
Come with me,
place.
Tauriel.
I was going to try and help out a little bit.
Okay.
Healing. Well, I can only heal one person.
But it is better than me. I can heal no one.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay here.
Okay. Then I will go too.
All right. You make your way to Arnama's place, and of the ranger, there is no sign. Her place is locked up tight. Even though this was right in front of where the giant attacked the west gate, her place is right in front of that. But other than an errant bit of club that slammed into her roof, doing some damage, her house is no worse for wear. Uptil, Jonark, whose hovel, hut, house, it's really small, is across the way, is sitting on his front stoop, and he's currently mending a pair of pants that looks like it ripped. that he looks like he took a fall, perhaps during the fight. He was so afraid, and he's mending a pair of pants. And he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen her since the fight."
I hope she is okay.
Me too, but she's the most competent ranger I've ever known, and I'm sure she's fine. She knows these woods like the back of her hand. I mean, I'm sure she's fine.
We all can have a bad day. I just hope today was not hers. But if she comes back, please send her immediately to our way. Especially if she is in need of healing.
I'll tell her you're looking for her.
Are you all right?
Yeah. I there's something I'm forgetting, but I don't remember what it is. I'm sure I'll remember.
Well, that is a little bit ominous. Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, it was a long night. I didn't sleep well, and
None of us slept well. None of us slept at all.
yeah. Well, I tried to in the beginning of the night, and then things went really bad and scary.
You know, you helped a lot.
I wonder if that's what those kids went through.
Hey, you know you helped a lot, right? This town would not even have a defense if you had not trusted us at our word and connected us to the right people. You saved this entire town.
He's kind of like, you did all the work. I just Holgast, he helped, and Arnama, I just talked.
You underestimate the power of belief, my friend.
I'll think on
Your
that.
belief in us.
I'll think on that. And he kind of gets up, takes his pants, and goes inside. He says, as he closes the door, if I see her, I'll tell her you're looking for her.
Yeah, please.
Back in the town square, and this is where the three of you are. The two of them are off running their errands. Mayor Ventnor makes an appearance. Walking around with one of what appears to be like a secretary of some sort, a busy little man who's walking along behind him, writing things on scrolls of paper, and he's like, and you can see him as he's walking, he's kind of pointing to various things, and he's like, yes, and as we can see here, for the record, I want to make sure that everyone remembers that it was through my leadership that we were able to get everyone to come together and build these barricades. And over here, you can see the gates we reinforced, and he's just going around.
Looking through our spells like,
Do it.
is that so?
Tauriel, do it. Oh, man.
And he's just kind of, he's walking along, talking to his scribe, and you notice there are some townsfolk following him along that are like, oh, that's really good, Mayor. And he's just like, yes, and over here you can see that.
Boo! So, I'm gonna cast Unseen Servant.
Oh, God.
And,
All right. So,
ooh, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
all right.
And I'm gonna command it to pants the mayor.
So an unseen servant can't make attacks, but it can open and close things. And I'm going to call pants something that it can open and close. So I'm sure that won't come back to haunt me at any point in time. Yeah. So you
or any
use
other GM for that matter.
You use unseen servant to have it go pants the mayor.
I love it.
As he is in the middle of pointing at he's pointing out toward the west gate, and he's like, yes, as you can see over there, we reinforced the gate, and that's where a number of the guards that I stationed there were able to fend off the giants, and all of a sudden his pants are around his ankles.
Can I also command it to then step on the pants to make him fall?
It doesn't really have any weight. That's the problem. It as an entity, it is almost just a wisp of a thing, and no one can see it. So, but it does kind of trip him up anyway, right? I mean, you pants him as he's walking, so he kind of stumbles. Let me see if he falls. He does. And worse still, he falls right into the trench you dug, face first into it.
I dug that for a reason.
And he kind of gets up, and there was all this kind of mud in the bottom of it that was prepped for what you do. So he's fallen in a trench. He's covered in mud. His pants are around his ankles. Everybody is like looking at each other, and he's like, but this is an outrage! And he promptly gets up, and he's pulling up his pants, and the townsfolk have all dispersed at this point after this lunacy, and he just kind of looks at all of you, and he's just like, well, I never, and he kind of at all of your jesting, his grand tour of the city has come abruptly to an end.
You can't really hear.
Wonderful.
You see it laughing.
Right.
I'm not even looking at anything. I'm just playing my violin.
What song are you playing for him?
Oh, is it like a little sad ditty?
But a really sarcastic, sad ditty.
Literally the world's tiniest
It's
violin.
just like, it's just.
Oh, it's literally wah-wah and wah-wah. Yeah, no, all right. Go ahead and give me a perform check to see how furious he gets with your performance.
That's amazing.
That would be a 26.
That is pretty terrible. That's a really good roll, so he feels really bad. And as he's walking away, you're playing this kind of sad dirge, as he's just like, he's trying to get the mud caked out of his hair and eyes.
Is this what I come back to?
Yeah. The rest of you come back roughly around then. You get to see it. As he's leaving the town square. Liz,
I give Tauriel a high five.
Liz, you see it just as he's leaving, and Linnaeus, you see it as you walk past him as he's making his way home, and he's just
So
like,
he's close to me then.
yeah.
As I'm passing by him, I turn and stare in his eyes, and I bare my fangs. I point a finger at him and I cast fear. Make a will save.
Wow.
We're a bunch of bullies.
Yeah.
No!
I rolled a 2.
I think he's already.
Come on.
The town and
He suddenly loks at you and is like, and he goes running, but he hasn't fully done up his pants.
Yes.
So they fall back down, and he tumbles back down, and he's gone. He goes running back. He's utterly disgraced himself in front of everyone who has seen him, which isn't the whole town, but it was a fair number of people.
Good. I hope they remember this on re-election day.
I'd also like to take a moment to cast a couple rounds of Soothe on our two.
I'm gonna start to do some medicine too.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
haven't
Some treat
stood up
wounds.
yet
Treat
from
wound.
the
Treat
steps
wound.
there.
Oh no! Here. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not standing.
Looks worse.
I'll come to you. It's fine.
readjusting.
I'll come to her and I'll
we're
start
both-
healing her.
Why, I can use the rest of my spell slots for this.
Okay.
All right.
I can also just
we can
sit
just
I
double
also
team it.
can. Yeah, I can. I don't know what my new staff does. I got a new staff.
Oh.
Oh, I see that.
But
got two there.
I know. I have
What
two
does it
staffs.
do?
I don't know. But I have my regular staff and I still have 2 charges, so I can heal you.
I'm gonna give you a second level, and then you 2 first
Don't
level.
tell me how much.
Okay.
8 for you, 4 for you from me.
4 for me.
And so, Omelette, you're going to take you're going to receive 20 points.
Ooh, big money, big
That's-
money.
Oh no, just kidding. 19.
Still big money.
And then
Bigger
you,
money.
I'm gonna do the same thing because I'm just casting it twice.
Yeah,
Whoever
that's
gets
cool.
less, I will do treat wounds on.
You are going to get 12.
Okay.
I'll do some treat wounds on you eventually. As
Very
we
nice.
Well,
Thank you both.
given the time that you have this morning, you actually have plenty of time to kind of do.
And I can
a lot of
I
healing.
can lay on him.
And every 10 minutes, you can give yourself 18 hit points back.
I want to start using some of the errant wood that maybe has basically now that we do not need the defenses. I'm going to start pulling
yes,
together. I want to
higher.
last. I want to make a pyre, but I also want to make like a lash together like a raft that we can lay
Sure.
Hogarth's body to rest on, so that we can
I will
give
help
him
you
a
with that one. Now that
hero's burial at the river. Then we can do the nice dramatic fire arrow to do.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Have we seen the undead attack during the day at all?
Has it always been towards
What,
dusk?
was it daylight when we arrived at the Lastwall?
It was daylight when you arrived at Castle Everstand.
Okay.
It was daylight when you arrived at the Hunter's fortress.
What I think is
But it
So-
looks
This
like
is-
the Lich may not
Lich.
be able to be out.
yes, it is possible that the Lich is the one that is on our tail and summoned the forces specifically and can maybe only do that at nighttime.
Well, you don't really know much
don't know
about
for sure.
how liches
yeah.
work.
This
If
is
that
just
was
me
even the
supposing.
Lich. We don't even know if that was whatever was seen.
Yeah.
What is the Lich?
Might be able to do
Just
something
supposing.
about it.
Yeah.
So,
I do have occultism. I could always run it.
Asina and Naria have been going around giving food and water to people. And Asina in particular has been letting everyone know that she comes around and she's like, oh, well, we owe you everything for saving our town. All of your rooms are free. All your foods are free. You're free to stay as long as you like.
And I can still stay in the top room.
If you keep performing, sure.
Oh, gladly.
She looks to all of you. I've started passing the word around that I'd like to hold a feast tonight in honor of everyone who fought for this town and those who gave it all to protect it. Would you be my guests of honor?
Oh yes.
Of course.
We'd love that.
In a heartbeat.
I appreciate that.
We would appreciate it if you too, if you would also offer that honor to your old mayor as well.
yes.
He is the only reason that there is any kind of defense that happened, because when we came into this village, there was no one that believed us, but he believed in us. He made sure we found the right people to help you all believe in us. I
She
believe
Certainly
that-
diplomatic.
She looks at you and goes, Well, I mean, that will really piss off Mayor Ventnor.
Good, definitely do it.
Well, what do you think about
So I'm in.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, also, you actually have 4 more hit points. I did my math wrong.
Oh, I'm back.
Okay, then never mind. Good.
Thank you.
So just before sunset tonight, I talked to Father Prast, and he said that was when the pyre was going to be lit. So
I find Gelby, because I would like to give her the pleasure of going to find the mayor and telling him that he's been invited to a feast as a guest of honor.
yeah, you find Gelby inside the church, still with a bandaged arm, but busy helping someone else. He's helping an old man put his feet up and get his boots off and stuff. And she is like, oh yeah, no problem here. I can help. Oh, ow. Okay, here you go. No, I got to be
I
careful.
have a better job for you.
She's like, what do you need?
Well, apparently there's going to be a feast tonight.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, no, that at the Seven Silvers.
Yes,
All
and the former mayor has been invited to be a guest of honor at that feast. Would you be so kind as to go and tell him?
I sure would. Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Gelby walks off chuckling to herself.
I love that the whole town seems to be in on this by like,
I know.
it's great.
So you are all able to you build a pyre. You help build a pyre. You build a raft for Holgast. But kind of by mid-morning, you are all losing steam. It is just like you have hit the wall and are now in the process of crashing.
I want to take a
You are
nap.
all very exhausted.
I want to take a nap in the temple, like right at the feet of the altar of Serenity.
All right.
Just collapse.
I want to do the same with Shellens.
Yeah.
And I will definitely sleep in the inn on a bed.
It is
going up to my
it is
nice
a,
suite.
a rather comfortable bed, and you go up to the forest crown suite, which overlooks the woods nearby. It's kind of the highest point in town, other than a couple spires and the guild hall, which is 2-story. But it affords a very good view of everything around. And
I kind of like to take a nap outside. These church steps are the closest thing I'm feeling to home lately.
Ah, yes, I forgot you prefer the nice stone to sleep upon.
Sort of feeling a bit reminiscent and nostalgic for some old times right about now.
You sleep where you're comfortable, my friend. And sleep well.
I'll see you tonight. And if you need
We
help,
will cuddle pile.
We'll cuddle pile.
have a good sleep then.
all right. So everybody goes to find some well-earned rest, and the afternoon kind of ticks on by. You're able to refresh yourselves. You're able to regain some spells. By the time we get to the evening feast, everyone's been healed up. You have bandages and stuff all over you, but on the whole, your hit points are restored. You're able to regain your spells and your abilities. You can't remember having been this tired after a battle of that length. You were running on empty. But now, waking up in the late afternoon, you find yourself refreshed. Still a bit tired, still a bit bruised, but feeling a lot more like yourselves. And the horrors of the past night, the siege of Cassin, are starting to fade into memory. Although some of those scenes will probably never leave you.
Yeah. I want to wake up a bit early.
All right.
And I'm remembering what Tauriel said. I want to sort of look around and make sure there's not too many people around. Are there people around? Or is everyone sort of off on their own now?
No, well, you're kind of outside the church.
Sure, yeah.
There are some folk going about their business. Not too many, but there are some.
Okay, but no one's really looking at me, right?
No, you don't really see anybody looking at you.
Right. I want to reach in my pocket. I want to take out the stone. I'm going to hold it up polish it. And it's just the cleanest stone you'd ever seen. So shiny and polished that you can see a reflection of yourself in it. To hold it up. And take a look around. And in the reflection of the stone, I look at my ancestors all around me.
You can see them standing over your shoulders, wandering about the town. Wherever you look, there they are.
So that was him then, up on the hill there. Has any of you ever seen him? I know not many of you ever encountered it. But is there any of you that has? Could really use your help right about now. I've been training my whole life for this, and it's gone. All we've got left is these people, these amazing people. But we're really outnumbered. Is there any sort of advice or guidance or a sign or something? Just anything on how to get through and stay safe and alive.
Some of the spirits of your ancestors slowly gather together behind you. And one by one, even though they have no bodies left, their spirits lock arms. In companionship. In fellowship. And they look at you and nod.
I hope to not see you soon. At least sort of the way you guys are. Thanks for that. Right. Tuck it back in my pocket.
Inside the church. Iculus, you wake up. And you notice that Father Prast is sitting on the bench in front of you. And it's almost as if he's been watching you sleep. And he kind of looks down at you. Knight of Shellen.
That is right.
It's a rarity.
My father, my mother, devout followers.
Kind of looks at you. So why the facade?
I don't follow.
The mask. Why are you hiding your true self from your friends?
Well, Nicholas looks at him.
It's an old, kindly priest. Old human man. Looks well built, but he's clearly middle-aged. He's been doing this for probably quite some time. And he's wearing old, simple, rough-spun robes. His hands are weathered and blood-stained from a morning of treating wounds and helping people. He has a holy symbol of Erastral around his neck, but you can see behind him all the other symbols, and he's the only priest here, so he must at least pay veneration to these other deities. He says, "I don't know a lot about Shellen."
But you're a devout man of faith.
Oh, that I am. But I respect her. She gives inspiration to the people of town. In fact, it is Shellen who guides their hands. It is she who blesses this town with fortune.
Yes.
And here you are, a knight of Shellen. What have you made? What art have you brought to the world? Or is it love? Have you brought love? Or is that it?
I've brought lots of love. And I've also lost lots of love.
He nods. I thought I saw that in you. No follower of Shellen would ever wear a mask, not unless they had been truly hurt.
Do you know who I am?
He looks at you. No, your mask is as opaque to me as it is to everyone else. You travel with good folk. They're good people. They escorted a bunch of strangers to my door seeking aid, and when they found that we could not offer it, they went to work to save this town. Yet more strangers. It's a virtuous thing. It's something that I can only offer praise to all of the gods for such protection. Erastil is my god. He's the god of our community. He's the god of our families. He's the god of the hunt. And I saw mighty hunters last night. And I thank Erastil for you, for he brought these mighty hunters to my door.
Yes.
And you, child. Sorry, it's an old affectation.
No problem.
I try to minister to this flock as best I can, and I don't feel that I can fully minister to you. Not yet. You're not ready. You have something you need to finish.
That is correct.
I can see it in you.
Perhaps you can help me finish it.
If there's anything this humble forest priest can do, he kind of leans back and says, with these hands, I can do a lot. Your problems need more than these. But I think that's why you carry that. And he points at your blade. Shellen doesn't often solve problems that way, but...
No, she doesn't. She's... may not approve of why I'm here. But she understands, I know.
He kind of stands up, kind of dusts himself off. I think she knows. They always do. And he kind of wanders off to go tend to some other folks, but you see him look back at you and kind of nod knowingly. As he kind of turns to go, he just says, if you have need of ministration, if you find your path, I'm always here to talk. I cannot offer you all of the prayers you might need, but I am a pair of ears that is willing to listen.
I appreciate that.
But I think you've got a bunch of those already. They're good folk. And he kind of walks away. All right. So, some of you are staying at the inn, a most comfortable environment. Linnaeus.
Curled up in a corner, right around the font of Saren Ray's, holding on to it.
So, you actually have a rather terrible dream. There is, you are asleep around this altar, and you're woken up with a bit of a start. And you look around you, and the entire place is empty. It is dark. The fog from last night is back. It seems to be everywhere. You kind of are in a bit of a panic, and there's no one in here, and this place feels claustrophobic and close. What do you do?
I cast light on the font.
All right, you reach out with your magic and cast light, and the light radiates around the font, but it flickers and dies.
I cast searing light in the center of the fog.
You unleash more of your magic, pulling upon it, and as you make the motions of the spells, you can feel them each, one by one, fizzle away. It's as if Saren Ray's light cannot reach this place.
I hide behind the font.
You crawl behind it and hide. And from that vantage point, you can barely see into the temple. You're kind of behind the shrine, and you're kind of terrified. And as you're sitting there, you're kind of quivering with fear, and you're and with the tongue in your mouth, you can suddenly feel that you have very sharp teeth. And you look out into the darkness, into the gloom, and out there, something has entered the temple. And you hear a voice say, "Come to me, my child."
Oh no! No, Dad!
Doesn't sound like a man's voice. It sounds like a woman's voice. It's not your mother. It's strangely familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on it. You're not sure who it is. And there is a dark shadow that is just slowly making its way there, flittering between the altars, and as it touches each one, they crumble to dust. And as it makes its way up to the Serenray altar, you can see its darkness kind of swimming up to envelop you, and it reaches out and touches the altar, and it begins to crumble, and you awaken with a start.
She wipes away all the tears that she was crying in the dream and stands up abruptly in front of the font and looks around. Okay. We're okay. It's fine. Wasn't Dad, wasn't Mum. Okay, it's fine.
Over in the inn, the two of you are woken up by a knock at the door. Opening it up, you see Asina there, and she's like, she looks to you, the two of you, and says, good afternoon. I was wondering if you had gotten enough rest and wouldn't mind helping me prepare for the festivities.
I would be okay.
Yes.
But I do have one thing that I need to do very quickly, and then I will come right back.
Asina looks at you and says, of course.
It won't take a moment, but I do apologize. I do have one thing I would really like to take care of.
Yes, of course. Asina says, whenever you're ready, just come downstairs. We could use a hand. All right. So let's see. Tauriel, what do you do?
Having just woken up and being a little vain. Just gonna smooth out my hair. Wipe the sleep from my eyes. And start tuning my violin.
All right. Your clothes also desperately need a cleaning and stuff, or at least brushing the dust out. It's been a long night.
Oh, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yeah. So you're able to clean up and make yourself presentable, and takes about 15 minutes. Yeah. Half an hour. Yeah. All right.
I was gonna wait for Liz.
Oh, you're gonna wait. All right. Liz, what are you up to?
I actually am going to take a quick jaunt down to Colvin's
Okay.
really quickly.
Ah, yes, Colvin.
Are you going
All
to
right.
come with me?
Oh, I was like, if you're leaving, I'll go help.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have to go out.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
If you want to go first, Tauriel, you feel free.
All right.
Tauriel, so you go downstairs as Liz is making their way out on an errand, and down there, Asina is like, well, we could really use a hand, and I was really hoping I could ask you if you would be willing to perform tonight.
Oh, of course, I would gladly perform tonight.
Oh, good. I just can't decide. Should we be going somber? Should it be a celebration? What do you think? Have you been to anything like this before?
Yes, I have. I think we can keep it mostly lighthearted, but also have a moment to honor everyone that we have lost.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking. I just wasn't sure if we should just go somber or.
I think after the night that the village has had, they might need something to lift their spirits.
Well, I kind of trust you as an entertainer. I'm a I'm an innkeep. My job is to serve food and drink, but managing a mood, that's seems like your area of expertise.
Well, I do love curating a mood.
All right. Well, is there anything else we could do that you think might help?
I'll see what I can do. I might do some lighting things.
All right.
You're not opposed?
Yeah. Noria comes up and looks at you and says, "Well, if you need any supplies or anything, we had an artist who stayed here a little while back, but couldn't pay his bill, so we ended up donating most of his supplies. So we have like a fair amount of paint and stuff downstairs if you need anything."
Oh, that could be fun. That could be really fun. Yes, I would like the paint.
All right. Well, I'll leave you to it, and in that I'll also leave you to think about that a little bit, and I'll come back to you in just a moment. Liz makes their way down to visit
The barefoot pitter-patter down the thoroughfares to Colvin's place.
All right. You arrive at Colvin's place, and he's out front, currently in the middle of whittling a small statue, a small sculpture. And when he sees you come up, he looks at you and says, "Well, I heard that Mayor Ventnor had an exciting morning."
It was no less than what he deserved, from what I can tell.
I think I can agree with that.
I had a small favor that I wanted to ask you. Not necessarily a favor. I'd be happy to pay you for your services. But I was thinking about the battle and how... Well, it is not common for me to find myself in a situation where I am so close to injury, possibly death. Perhaps I am too cavalier about my abilities and what it is I am capable of doing. But I do not think that I am of any use to anyone if I am not able to fight even the simplest thing like a skeleton, because all I can do is stab it with a stupid dagger that doesn't do anything except skip off their bones. I wasn't much of a anything to your daughter either. I really messed up my first impressions with her. But she put a lot of faith in us. Even without knowing what we were fully capable of doing. And I don't know, I feel there's got to be some way that we can honor her as one of the last acts she ever did was to give us the ability to be empowered by her faith in us. And so I was wondering if you would be so kind. I would like a weapon of some kind, a club, or not anything too big. Obviously, I'm not very big, but something like a billy club or something like that. But with your expert touch, and I would love it if you would perhaps carve your daughter's name in it for us, and so that we can carry her with us into battle every time we go.
He looks at you. You and your kin are always welcome here. You know that, and you know I would never charge you a single copper for anything that I do. If you want something, you just have to ask. And I think you just did. I think I might have something for you.
Please, I would be deeply honored to carry your craftsmanship into battle with us.
He goes inside. He says, "Just a minute." He goes inside, and he comes back out. And he says, "Funny, I was intended to give this gift, but, well, this just seems about right. You see, when Andla was young, She was quite a rambunctious child. She constantly wanted to go out and explore the woods and wander the Fangwood, and well, I took her out as often as I could, but she's a young girl. She had a strong head on her shoulder and was determined to do things her own way, at her own terms. Well, I just wanted to keep her safe. So well, here. And he holds out a staff. But it's not a full-size staff for a human. It's not 5 feet tall. It's only about 3 feet tall. And it's like, I carved this for Andla to take with her so she could be safe. Well, years passed, and when she went off to join the military, she left this behind. Well, a couple years back, I had some folks put some enchantment on it, hoping that she might find use of it the next time she came back to town, but that hasn't happened, so I'd be honored if you'd carry it.
Of course, I would be. It would be my pleasure.
It only comes with one condition.
Of course, whatever you say.
If you find my Andla,
I will give it right to her.
you got to give it back to her.
I will, with complete and total pleasure.
He hands you Andla's staff. It is a +1 striking staff. It's going to deal extra damage and stuff. I'll give you some of the stats later, but just write down Andla's staff somewhere on your character sheet. All right.
Very nice.
Back at the tavern.
Party planning.
You are down there planning for the party.
Yes.
You've been given a whole bunch of paint,
Yes, I have.
some canvases, and some banner material, whatever you need.
I was going to paint a portrait of Holgast. If I have the time.
You do.
Great. I'd like to do that. To hang.
It'll be a bit impressionist, right? As opposed to,
I'm artsy. It's artistic.
It's a Picasso. It's fine.
right?
Yeah.
Do you have? Are you trained in crafting?
I am trained in crafting.
All right. So you can go about this one of two ways. You can kind of do it as a craft or a performance, but I think craft makes more sense here. So why don't you go ahead and give me a craft check?
You know what?
Oh,
I'm not feeling too
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna try that again. That's
Wow,
much
yes.
better. That is going to be a 28.
All right. It, like I said, it's a little fast, a little impressionistic, but when you're done, you're very happy with the results. It's a painting of Holgast, a portrait of Holgast, with his pipe lit, and the owl perched on his shoulder, and it's kind of looking down at him, and he's kind of looking up at it, and it's pretty touching.
And for the rest of the time, I'll just make banners that say like Cassin and like with all these
So as you're painting some of that,
verse and stuff.
Asina comes down and says, I found I got a little something that I think might make sense on one of the sheets. And she kind of hands over a piece of parchment and says, you might need this, and goes back upstairs. And opening up the piece of parchment, you see inside is a list of names.
Yes. Then
And
that's,
it looks like the names of everyone who died.
then I'm definitely going to be adding that
All right.
in like beautiful curly script.
Sure.
And at the top, I want to write in honor of, and then write all the names.
All right. So, the evening draws near, and as it does, a beautiful autumn sunset begins to set over the town, and the town gathers. Everyone who is able begins a solemn march to the center of town, and that is where the funeral pyre has been set up, so that the dead can be properly laid to rest. As you all arrive, the folk of Cassin clear a space for you, and the priest, Father Prast, is there giving last rites to all of the fallen. The only person who is not being laid to rest here is Holgast at your request. His body is waiting down near the river. So
Just as a quick aside, were we able to clear the giant's body out of the way?
So as it turns out, that took a good portion of the day, and a whole bunch of laborers had to cut away a whole lot of timber and stuff in the water to get that corpse out of there. As a matter of fact, getting the giant bodies out of the town actually ended up being a real big pain. They had to use horses to drag them, and it took like a whole team. The town doesn't have very many horses. It has like a dozen total. And so, yeah, it took teams of horses to drag those corpses out into the woods so they could be gotten rid of. The giant corpse, they had to drag up out of the water because they didn't want it following the water upstream or down, so they had to get that out of there. It was very grim work. As a matter of fact, just kind of going over the whole town, collecting up all the zombies and skeletons and there were, like I said, there were a few ghouls and ghast that got into the town as well that you never even saw. The getting all those bodies and getting them out of here actually was really grim work. There are a number of folk in town who spent all day just collecting up undead corpses. So, yeah. But they did manage to get rid of it. It just took a while. They've also started figuring out a way. Right now, they brought one of the kind of larger boats over to where the bridge was and are using that to get across back and forth with kind of like a rope system to get the people across. But they're starting to have to figure out how to rebuild the bridge because the north side of town is now kind of cut off. Not that a lot of people live there, but it was enough. So, gathering together in the center of town, Father Prast is giving last rites to the dead. They are all kind of piled up in one pyre. It's got wood. It's not just like a pile of bodies. It's got wood framing and stuff. And he's giving a benediction to Erastil. He's talking. These are the folk who gave their lives for our community, and it is in Erastil's service that we honor them. They are to be committed to his faith now. They shall wander the boneyards where they shall be sent to our Father, and there they shall find peace and happiness, that which has now been denied them in this world. With that, he kind of takes a torch and wanders over to the pyre and gently lights it aflame.
As the pyre's being lit, I want to play a funeral song.
All right. It's a quiet, simple dirge. No need to make a check or anything. There's plenty of folks crying quietly. Many people lost brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, loved ones. The pyre's fire rises high up into the night sky. And the town folk all look at each other and they nods, and there's lots of gripping of shoulders and tearful hugs. Many of the folk go home, but an equal number begin making their way to the Seven Silvers. You notice that Mayor Ventnor was present at the ceremony, solemnly keeping his mouth closed. He, even as it ended, he looked to all of you and he just looks ashamed. His eyes are kind of downcast, and he doesn't come to join the celebration. However, almost everyone else is there. Like Father Prast is there. Private Unkir is there. She comes up and congratulates all of you as you're leaving the square. She comes up and goes, "You did pretty good.
As did you?
I kept people safe."
Can I have some alcohol?
So you're getting close to the 7 silvers yet. This is on the walk up. Unkir is there, and Unkir looks to all of you and says, "Well, you can. I'm on watch." And at that, you notice Unkir is no longer wearing the badge of Lastwall.
Oh.
She's wearing the badge of Cassin. She says, "I kind of signed up."
As you should.
Understandable.
Well done.
You found a new home.
Well,
I'm happy for
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's still here tomorrow.
Don't do
If you are
that.
protected, it definitely will be.
I've seen some stuff,
We
but
all have.
I gotta stay on watch. So you all celebrate though. You've earned it.
Make sure you make some time later to celebrate yourself, as you have as well.
I sure will. So, making your way into the 7 silvers, as you enter, the doors swing open. There's already people laughing. There are mugs being clinked about. It reminds you a lot of the other night. There's a somber note to it. There aren't people gambling or anything like that. And there are some people kind of quietly crying into their mugs. But there are some people recounting tales of battle and talking about, yeah, that zombie that crawled in my back window, I gave it the what for. This is like a matronly woman who's like, yep. Beat it to death with my iron. She, this is just a big metal iron you put in the fire to warm your to push your clothes. And she's like, "Yep, beat it right to death." And the farmer across from her, the farmer across from her is like, and it's just kind of it's rapidly becoming a bit of a party. There's a lot of folk rapidly diving into their cups. And as you enter,
I actually pass you a thing of mead.
I drink the whole thing.
I put my hand on her shoulder, saying, "You don't have to ask permission."
The whole thing is gone in like 2 gulps. It's
Right? Someone's
empty.
thirsty.
She like goes to the counter, throws it down, and goes, "Please."
well, as you're doing that, Asina is actually coming up and says, "The high table is yours."
Oh.
And she also has a large platter covered with mugs and bottles, and she also has this kind of crusty-looking black bottle with a stopper on it that she's like, "I also may have broken out a little bit of the good stuff."
And I, please.
It's got some stank
Don't
on it.
finish the whole thing there.
Oh, definitely not this. I've seen what you do, but I will give you a taste.
Stick to the meat.
I need a drink.
How about we all share
More meat.
a little bit of
I
this
need to drink.
together?
We have some meat over here.
I need a
We
drink.
got a thirsty lass.
Give us all a shot of that.
So she hands out mead. You're taken up to the main table, where the kind of chief table up at the top, which behind now hangs a painting of Holgast. And you are all served food and plenty of ale and plenty of mead. They start dropping mugs on the table left and right.
I'd like to cast dancing lights above us. Just
Sure.
to, like, have some.
Oh, it's a little bit disco in here now. It's great.
And then once I finish, I'm going to play a little tune. A little dancing.
I'd like to try and steal someone else's shot.
Okay. So first of
Cannot
all,
have mine.
she's not pouring the shots quite yet.
Okay,
You
when it-
ask for it, and she looks at you and goes, "Just a minute. We're still waiting one more guest, and there is still an empty seat at the table."
The mayor.
So the evening continues to roll along. She comes out to serve food. They apparently went out and caught themselves a whole bunch of rabbits, and so there's fresh hare, roasted hare. There's stuffed pigeons. There's mince pies. They kind of went all out. It looks like they've been baking and cooking all day.
Healing through food. This is it.
Fresh bread, roasted vegetables. It's a sumptuous feast. It was actually a few nights ago now, was a lovely dinner. This is a feast. All sorts of delectables. They've broken out the pickles. They've broken out the preserved fruits, like things from spring that have been sitting in syrup for months. They're pulling out all the stops.
If you ever at any point start a rousing tune of some kind, I'm going to start making up a song and pounding my my mug against the table. We should get everybody started on something.
I'd like, Iculus would like to propose a toast.
Oh, yes, good man.
To fallen comrades.
To fallen comrades.
Foreign comrades.
Iculus takes a straw.
And you're doing that right over the portrait of Holgast.
Is that Holgast?
I did that.
This is you.
I can tell. I've seen your art.
Excellent.
Pretty good likeness it is.
Oh, thank you.
You are quite talented.
Thank you.
I'm appreciative
Shake my
of
hand.
art.
So,
Got the feathers right.
yeah, like a lot of them. The owl even has the right level of disdain.
Keep looking at the door as we are eating and drinking.
And as that happens, the door pushes open, and there you see Jonak Uptil.
Hey!
And he kind of looks around, and instead of his kind of disheveled old clothes and his kind of wild beard and his ill-kept hair, you see a man who looks a little restored. He's wearing his best clothes. They are very fine. They are well made. They look like they don't quite fit as well as they once might have. He looks a little larger than he did when these clothes were first tailored for him. But his beard's been trimmed. His hair is kind of pulled back and looks at least a little bit well put together. Like he actually, ran some fingers through it. And he is beaming. His cheeks are bright red. And the moment he opens the door, there's just clapping all throughout the bar.
Slow clap.
Yeah. It's the slow roll clap. Yeah.
I want to switch the tune to a little upbeat march.
He kind of looks around and does as he makes his way through the crowd up to the table. He doesn't even make it to the stairs before Noria is there with a silver mug that's kind of frothing with beer, and he kind of makes his way up and he's kind of sloshing it back and forth, and he comes up to the table and he says, "Friends, it's
So glad that you could make it.
Welcome!
thrilled to be here." And he kind of wanders around to the head of the table and he says, "A toast to the heroes of Casson."
To the believers!
And everybody in the bar raises up a mug, and the mayor takes his seat. Well, the ex-mayor. You notice
Not to be X for too much longer, I think.
Soon to be
he came in. He's got kind of a half cloak on. He kind of takes that off and slings it off and throws it over the back chair. He has something big kind of wrapped in a package, or wrapped in like a cloth. It's tied up with twine, and he just kind of sets that next to his chair. And he kind of looks to all of you and he says, "Well, I'm not much one for speeches anymore. I haven't given one in years, but I will say this: for an old man like me who's lost his way, I can't tell you how much it means to me that you worked with me, that you didn't just treat me like the old man who failed."
We all make mistakes and we all fail.
You're great.
He's like, "Bah."
You're
And he
great.
kind of, at that, he's got a little tears in his eyes, and he's like, "Nip, nip," and he just kind of tips the mug back to hide any tears that he may be shedding.
Oh no, Jonak, you're great. Let's have a toast for Jonak.
Oh yeah.
Jonah, a true believer.
Who we couldn't
Like
have done
you.
this without.
While everyone's toasting, Linnaeus is like, oh yeah, and like slithers out of her chair and sneaks around while they're all paying attention to him and goes straight for the bar.
So you make your way back over to the bar to get another
A
drink.
monster.
And Linnaeus has found alcohol. All right, so
Had a bad night, all right?
you managed to find another drink, and as you make your way back to the table, you notice that Asina is making her way up with that bottle, and she's like, she walks up to the table once you're all back. You kind of show back up with another mug, I would assume.
Yeah, it's the hidden.
Oh, it's a hidden mug.
Oh, no one sees.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to forget what I saw earlier.
That's
I
fair.
want to forget. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not happy. I'm scared. I don't like being scared. So I'm going to forget it by being drunk.
Say-
Already
I
off
would
to a
Like, no, hang
great
on. I
start.
would like to make a perception check. So I don't drink too much. I'm not taking no shots of this, and I have a history of doing drinking competitions with my sister Lavagot. So I sort of recognize when this sort of behavior's going on. So I want to sort of be keeping an eye out and see if I notice that this is that you're sneaking around.
Go ahead and give me a perception check. We'll see if we'll see if you spot anything out of the ordinary.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's is 31? 31.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of notice that she's hitting the
Right.
ale pretty
I
hard.
want to sort of beckon the one holding the jug.
Well,
over.
so Asina's showed up with 6 small glasses.
Yeah,
She puts all 6 of them on the table,
I want to
and she
grab.
uncorks the bottle.
Want to grab her.
She looks at you.
Pull her down. Sort of lean up and get on my knees. Just say, right. Don't be giving none to that one right there. I've noticed she's already been sneaking at least 4 cups of other tables.
She looks at you and goes, "Now, I appreciate your concern for your friend, but she's an adult and can make her own decisions."
All right, it's your mopping up vomit. And lets you go.
She looks at you and she just goes, "Besides, nobody's getting more than one taste of this." She says, "Now," Asina looks at all of you and says, "Now, my mother used to make her some pretty strong stuff, and she passed on years ago, and my father kept these all for himself, intent to give them away at my wedding to some fancy lord or something." And on that, you see her look over at Noria and give a wink. "Yeah, well, that didn't work out for him either, and when he passed on, these became mine. So I do with them what I want. And today I want to share them with the Here's a Castle." So,
Right.
this is strong stuff, not going to lie to you. It's a blackberry liquor, and you're only getting a little, and you definitely a little, but I do want to share it with all of you. So she uncorks the bottle and pours each one of you a taste of this liquor for all 5 of you and for Mayor Uptal, ex-Mayor Uptal.
If it's only a taste.
To the bonds that we have made.
Oh, sorry, I already drank mine. Here, I have a mug.
Actually, you're the one that is better than talking. Why am I doing all the talking? You do it.
Oh, well, I mean, you seem to have something prepared already.
But nothing beats an off-the-cuff and impromptu.
How about we all say something?
I like
Then
that.
I
We say
said
them
mine.
fast.
I like
To the
that
bonds
idea.
that we have made.
To the friends that we have made.
To all of you.
To finding what we're searching for.
To protecting the realm.
To the people of Casson.
Tis.
So you all throw it back. And I'm going to need everybody to make a fortitude save. That's how strong it is. It's so strong, it's not technically a drink so much as it is a poison.
Lovely. Natural 20.
Oh, you can hold your liquor.
19. 31.
That would be a 30 for me.
31 for me.
31,
26.
26,
22.
22, but I'm giving you a penalty.
No.
No, you've been sneaking drinks all night. You get a penalty on that check.
Oh, yes.
18.
Sounds right.
You haven't been drinking
The
much.
dwarf
tonight, so-
got an 18.
I don't drink. I said
So-
don't drink.
So it doesn't make you sick. That's not what happens. But the two of you, the room starts spinning a bit.
Right.
and-
What
and-
I said, only just a
And a lot of the night kind of turns into a bit of a blur.
Oh, I
Right.
think you have achieved.
Iculus, you're taking me for a dance.
Iculus picks up Omelet. Just
Am I waltzing on your thighs then? All right, however we want to do this. Okay.
It's kind of like weird hop dancing. You can't quite hold her aloft constantly, but you can kind of.
Sure, just twirl me around, I suppose.
That's really not helping the Disney.
does Omelet start singing? Maybe.
Start singing. You're telling me I'm singing now? Have I been singing for the last hour? I kind of feel like my throat's getting a little numb there. Was I singing? I did want to tell you though. I just wanted to tell you. It has been an honor serving with you. I just say, did you know that my family has been serving in the Lastwall for 1,000 years? A full 1,000. My family
1,000
was
years.
there, right there when we put that thing up on the hill, right back in the ground. My family was there with the armies, with the crusade, and my family for the last 1,000 years, every male firstborn, or well, just the firstborn male in my family gets sent to the Lastwall. They're trained up, and fate had a right good laugh with my dad. So my father and mother, basically. Well, I'll just say this. My father always used to say, you got to break a few eggs to get an omelette. And 15 girls later, they declared me the omelette.
I get that joke.
I'm having such a nice time. You're an excellent dancer, you are.
Yes.
My gosh, has my feet touched the ground once?
No.
What
I've got you swinging, baby.
Yeah, you do, my gosh. Am I blushing or is it really hot in here?
It's a little bit of both.
Do you mind if I just have a bit of a sit down?
Wait. I want to dance too. And she tries to stand up and she goes, no. You know what?
Sure, do you want to come dance with us? And I've wrapped my arm around your neck and just hanging there.
Yes,
Come dance with us. I want to
Linnaeus,
see.
Linnaeus, come on up.
my family.
Yes, I've got plenty enough for the both of us, look.
You left me at the temple. I never knew them.
Linnaeus.
This turned into the.
Linnaeus.
I've always been abandoned because I'm a monster.
No, you've been healing all of us. You've been saving our lives.
Collapses on the floor. Just
Think of your beetles.
What
They've
have I
been
made?
with you for a long time.
I'm a monster.
You are not. You are one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen. Are you serious?
Does anyone have any coffee?
I think
Asina is like, you see Asina go, it's a party. And you go running off into the back,
As soon
taking
as
the
someone
bottle.
starts crying, it's a party.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's how that works.
I've dropped down and started crawling under the table. So you're just going, I won't leave you. I promise I'll never. No, me and the Beatles, we're just going to stay right here. And I nuzzle up into I'm trying to nuzzle up into your, like your Beatles. Look, I'm just like one of your Beatles there. I'm just. Oh,
Elton likes me, but I don't think Freddie does.
that's okay.
I don't think Freddie likes anyone.
What kind of beetle am I? Just tell me. Am I a
You would be I have a specific one, and it's just like just like David. You are an emerald ash borer. They're very long and beautiful, and they're shiny. And
That makes sense. I do have an emerald grasshopper on me cloak. I'm an emerald beetle.
You're the
And
prettiest
I won't leave you. I won't.
So-
You're my family now.
So the mayor, sorry,
Amazing.
I'm just Jonark has the same expression I have right now, which is pretty much this.
I like it under here.
And he's looking at
You found
he's
a good
looking at the
tent.
bottom of his little cup, and he kind of looks to Asina and he says, "I'll have more of what they're having."
Which one?
So
I've had one.
I guess I have been watching all of this, watching my friends love and care for each other, and I feel a little jolt of ennui. But I am just so happy to see that my friends are happy and taking care of one another. It is a special, special moment, even if it is full of chaos and snot.
Yes.
yeah, there's a fair amount of like tears and snot going on. Yeah, no, it's
My friends care for each other, and so I am happy.
Asina looks to you, Tauriel, and is like, I think we could use some music as she's making her way. As she's
watching stop.
kind of
Train
like,
wreck.
like there's a lot of folk in here who have just kind of stopped to stare at the spectacle occurring up on the stage, where the heroes of Cassin have started dancing and blubbering.
Yes.
Yes. I just start back up. A nice upbeat tune.
All right. So you start playing an upbeat tune, and some of the folk begin to dance, and the entire place is kind of turned into a merry festival at this point in time. The names of the fallen are revealed and rolled up or unrolled and hung from one of the walls, and beneath it a number of candles are lit, and folk come by to the small table in front of it, and there they leave small tokens or mementos for those who are lost. But even that doesn't truly dampen the mood. The folk here are genuinely pretty excited, pretty happy to have lived.
As are we all.
I want to dance.
You can dance with me, Michelle.
Oh, let's dance. Go.
So you're about to start dancing when you notice the front door opens. And it's Arnama,
It's okay.
mostly. She comes in. You notice her bow is still on her back.
Okay.
Her cloak is mud-stained and torn in places. She has a cut down the side of her face.
Scars are sexy.
It looks like it's clotted up and has bled down the front of her tunic. It looks like it was a pretty bad cut. So this isn't like ran into a bush. This is like something cut her face. And she kind of scans the place, sees all of you, looks around at all of this, and looks really troubled. Like she's not sure what exactly she should do.
I pat her up to her.
So as you begin making your way to her, she kind of turns to walk back outside.
Oh,
That is fine,
wait.
but I will follow her.
I can heal you. Wait, let me heal. She like stumbles after her. Right? Let me heal you. I want to help.
Trying to spot you.
So
Thank you.
do all of you make your way outside, or are you all
I'm just
following?
spotting
we
you.
all
As I have promised, I won't
I might
leave you.
I see what's happening, but I'm choosing not to stop playing because I don't want to.
So you're
I don't want to concern
keeping
anyone.
you're keeping the party up.
Yeah.
But I will follow
I'm appreciating the
right.
music.
So the three of you make it outside. This would be Liz, Linnea, and Omelette. What?
Aeneas.
Linnaeus.
It's Latin.
Oh yeah, fair enough. So the three of you make your way outside to where Arnama is now kind of out towards the center of town. She's kind of pacing. By the time you get out there, she's pacing around the ashen pit that was the funeral pyre.
I'm just
Are
making
you
grabby hands.
Are you okay? We waited for you and we searched for you, but we were not sure what happened to you. And I am so sorry. You come and we are celebrate. It looks as though we are celebrating, and
She looks at you with kind of a wry smile and says, No, you earned it. You saved these folks. You certainly earned yourself a bit of rest, a bit of celebration.
Well,
Do you
we
need
couldn't have
healing?
done that without you.
She says, This is nothing. I've got an ointment at home. It'll take care of it.
Are you sure?
It's fine. It's fine. I already patched it a bit with a poultice, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine in the morning.
What happened out there?
Night of the battle, she kind of stops herself. I shouldn't trouble you with this till morning. There ain't nothing you can do about it.
Tell us
Trouble
now,
us now.
please.
She looks at you. I knew you'd say that, but well, I'm sorry. So, the night of the fight, I went out to go help in the way that I can. Stand-up fight was never my style. So I went out and I set snares, found a good perch, prepared to take down whatever dead I could find. Well, they came. You saw them. I saw the Hulks make their march into town.
Sure.
Put a few arrows in one of them as it went by. Never paid me much heed. A few others stalking through the forest, too. Took down a couple. Got some more in snares. That was nice work with those holy water snares.
That was all
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about those. I finished those off before they could get loose.
Thank you.
I was ranging out there all night. I saw a lot of the dead. What I'll tell you is troubling. They didn't all attack.
There are still some out there. Many, I would suppose.
There's some. There ain't many in the woods right now.
What are you not telling us?
What happened?
Well, the reason I've been gone all day is because I've been ranging. I haven't slept. I followed some of them because as dawn came, a bunch of them pulled back. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever fought against skeletons and zombies before, but they ain't exactly got much in the brains department. I mean, skeletons ain't got anything up there at all. And zombies, well, that ain't nothing but rotten meat. They don't have tactics. They don't surround a town. They don't come at different gates coordinated at the same time. That's not their way. The dead come at you in waves.
Because they were commanded. It's the bitch. It's the lich.
Yeah, that one.
If it's a lich, we'd all be dead. That thing would have walked into the town and killed every single last man, woman, and child in the
Do you
castle.
think they have some kind of... Oh, no.
Something else?
What?
What?
There's something out there. I don't know what it is.
And like a cold tingle goes up Lys's spine, and they don't say anything, but they have a very, very bad feeling about this.
What's going on? Everyone's not saying something that's
Well,
very
Listen,
clearly.
I'm
tell
getting
us
there.
things.
Okay.
Listen. I ranged all day following some of the dead that shambled back when dawn came, because some of them pulled back. There wasn't many of them left at that point in time. Most of them came during the night, but you killed, well, I right like think that you killed a lot of them. But there were some left. But as soon as dawn came, they all just marched back.
Back where?
Well, they went back north. Back into the Fangwood. So I followed them. Wasn't hard to do. They don't exactly do much to cover their tracks. They just kind of stumble in a direction until they get to where they're going. Well, that was the damn peculiar part. They got to a little hollow, a little dell, quite a few miles north of town, out in the woods. And there they just stopped. Peculiar thing. Stalked around them for an hour or so just to see if they'd start moving again, and they didn't. They just stood there. Didn't do anything. They just stood there. Squirrel went running through, went right between them. They didn't even attack it. It's weird. Ain't like them at all. So I started ranging a bit further just to see what was going on. It's almost like they were just sitting there waiting. I couldn't really find anything. Not at first. Late this afternoon, I went to one of the high spots in the Fangwood. It's not incredibly far from here, but it is quite a hike from where I was. So I had to make my way there. It's kind of far off to the west. There's a bit of a hill, and on top of that hill is a really old tree that's been dead for probably 100 years. But a number of months ago, I went and put a bunch of spikes in it, and allows me to climb up and get a really good vantage point. I've had that there for a while now. So I went there, climbed as high as I could go. And I gotta say, it gives me an incredible view. I mean, I was able to see very, very, very far in every direction. Tell you what I saw. You're not gonna like it.
Well, just tell us, please.
That was only a bit of the dead. There's a lot more coming. They're moving slow, though. I don't think they're the fast ones. I think what we saw were the faster ones. That ain't saying much, but the ones that are coming, they're moving slow, but they're making a march here.
Do you think those are the ones we saw back at the wall?
I think the fast ones are the ones we saw back at the wall. I think
think-
whatever's up there has been continuing to make things while we've been gone.
They are raising the dead as they go and collecting them into their army.
That was my suspicion as well, actually. They go and gobble up every town and village on the way. They were just adding to their numbers.
By this point, they must be in their several hundreds or even their thousands.
So then, if it's not a lich, then...
Didn't quite look that big, but I got to admit, it still looked pretty damn imposing.
Well,
A lot
when
of
we
them.
saw them, they were numbering maybe 200 or 300. We probably picked off a quarter of that in the fight yesterday, but
So I'd have to reckon that actually, if you saw a couple hundred, you probably saw the start of whatever that was. And a bit of it broke off and came here immediately.
of course.
So I think you actually probably, with the number I killed, with the number you killed, with the extra ones that the town folk caught, I would wager that was probably about half of that original number, maybe a little less.
That is heartening to hear, but still.
But I think the other ones are the slow ones, and they've been gobbling up everything on the way.
Man,
If what you saw was accurate, I mean, at this point in time, we're dealing with recollections and guesses. Now, I took the best look I could. I must have sat there and watched them for a good hour until the light finally failed and I lost track of them.
did you
But in that hour, they made some distance. Not a lot, though. I think we have some time.
did there
But not a lot.
to be anyone in command of them?
You have to understand, this was out near the horizon. I could barely even see them. I just was pretty much trying to pay attention to how fast they were moving. But I tell you, a horde of the dead do stick out like a sore thumb. And they're off to the west. They're outside the forest, marching along the road.
What do
But
we do?
as I was watching, they do tend to kind of turn this way. They're not on the road. They're closer to the forest, and I can't help but feel that they're heading this way.
We have to get out. We have to get everyone out.
Yeah, we can't barricade this town again. It's not
Damn
going
the
to
conse-
last.
And damn the consequences about how difficult it will be. Nobody needs to stay in this town and die.
Yeah, with the sort of disturbing information, I'm going to start backing up into the doorway and sort of waving down the fellows.
Iculus, at this point, Iculus comes down outside.
So as the three of you are talking about, we have to get out of the town, and she looks at you and says, "Listen, everybody's exhausted.
I am not saying that we have to do it today or even tomorrow. How much time do you think that we have based on what you could see?
Couple days.
When then we
I would
have-
guess probably 3, maybe 4.
Then we have that time to get everybody to pack only what they need and to start thinking about where we can go next.
To be safe, we should be out by the end of the second day, because then we still have those 2 days ahead of them.
Absolutely.
But where
Like I said
Listen.
do we
before,
go? What's a big town? We need to find a big town with big armies,
Big
big
stone
militia.
walls, not just
Yes, something better defensive.
Listen, I leave that for you to discuss, but I'll say this. there's something driving that force. And it seems to be following you like an arrow. There ain't no reason for it to be coming down here. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Perhaps.
But your group seems to be what's drawing them on. And I'm not sure you'll ever find rest while that horde is still out there.
Well, then maybe you stay here and we can go.
We have to leave.
I think that it is safe either way that
Whatever it is.
the problem is, even if we leave this place, there is nothing to guarantee that it is specifically us.
They might just roll over this town, too.
So I think what is a good idea is to mobilize the town to move on somewhere with better defenses, and we go somewhere else.
Yes. Yes. Very smart. We split up. We send them a big place and we go
Anywhere else.
another place.
Anywhere that's not near a big city where more people can be harmed.
Do you know of any ruins? Or sort of abandoned keeps of the like?
She looks at you and says, good luck getting 1,000 people to go marching somewhere. Listen, I don't want to... It's late. You all clearly been drinking. I'm not telling you
I am
you
fine.
shouldn't be thinking about your problems, because you should. And I'm sorry I had to bring them to you here this
We
late at
needed
night.
to know this, and we needed to know it as soon as possible. You have given us time.
Yeah, but please do me this one kindness. Don't ruin this for those folks. They lost a lot of people. Just
It's not. We can keep this until tomorrow.
I
But
mean,
we must definitely, I
if
hate
you-
to say it, but we should talk to
mean-
the actual mayor and see if he will step up and not be...
she looks at you. You should probably tell Jonark though.
We will definitely tell him, but I think that the person who is actually democratically in power should also be made aware, and maybe he can start to atone for what he has done. He did look rather ashamed today.
Yeah, fair enough. She says, listen, I'm going to go get some rest. We're going to have some discussion tomorrow about what to do.
Oh, you should know because you were not here. Unfortunately, we lost Holgast. He gave his life defending the East Wall, more or less by himself with the help of some of the guards.
I know. I saw the barge.
We are going to send him to his rest a little bit later, if you would like to join us.
I would. I'll be there. I'll go get some... have a few more ales. Enjoy it.
Maybe you take a couple to go?
I'll be back. I'm going to go clean up a bit. It's been a long day.
Thank you so much for this information.
At that, she kind of makes her way back to her house, leaving the three of you to head back inside and break the news to your companions. You make your way back inside, and things are still cheery. People are still happy. It's a party, right? You know, and everyone's having a good time. But now the three of you have to kind of be like, right? You know, you have to kind of put on a happy face because
Nicholas came down the stairs, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the bar, and I see them come in, and why the long faces?
What do you mean? Everything is fine. This is a party.
No, we should tell him. He should
Oh, yes,
know.
of course we.
Of
But we
course.
should definitely
Listen.
do it with smiles on our faces and as calmly as possible.
Listen.
Let's go back up to the high table. We'll
where
tell
we-
Joan Arc too.
Okay.
Yeah, where there are fewer
Let's-
ears to hear.
Come on, give me your hand. Come on.
So there's a break in the music, and everybody, you know, finishes dancing, and everybody's going to order more drinks. So you're giving kind of a respite, and it's clear that everybody has come back in with some tidings. So you're all able to kind of gather back together up at the high table.
So we had a bit of a problem.
There's more.
A lot more. They are moving this way, according to
Jonark is like,
our number.
So
Jonark suddenly is like running his fingers through his hair and kind of muffing it up a bit, and he's like, oh.
It is very possible that it is us specifically that they are following. So
Sure.
we are going to make haste to leave this place as soon as possible, but
this is true.
very possible that even if we leave, they might still overrun your town. So
You gotta go.
He kind of looks at all of you.
You need to
I
get
don't.
to a safe.
A lot of these folks don't have place to go.
We know,
This
but
is their home.
if you
They've been
don't
here
leave,
forever.
If you don't leave, you will die, and you will join this army. I know it's bad.
We want to send you someplace that has a more defensible
Wall line.
wall, and maybe an army even to protect you. I am sure that the news of this horde of undead is going to start to spread far and wide. Everyone is going to become aware of it, and you are probably going to be among the first of many refugees heading towards larger cities.
Yes, we need you to be messengers. We need you to tell.
Well, he's kind of scratching his head, and he's like, I don't. But I thought we had you.
I think that as long as we are here, we are putting a target on your back.
And we may not be enough. We stretched ourselves very, very thin today. And if more comes, and if somehow the Lich sends something more powerful, and there's, not just 3 waves, there's, I don't know, a 4th wave.
Because this is the thing. Something is commanding them. They are not fighting as they normally would.
They stopped.
Oh, I
Don't
hate
worry.
thinking undead.
This is the thing. I think, given the right kind of convincing and the opportunity to make things right, the mayor, the other mayor, might be stirred to help you. And he might actually step up this time.
Says he kind of looks, and he's looking almost kind of lost in thought for a moment, as if he's like, he kind of scratches his head, and he's like, oh yeah, wait. And he goes back and he grabs the brown wrapped package he put down behind his chair. And he starts unwrapping it, and he says, and inside is a big, thick book. Just a book. And he kind of unwraps it, and he says, well, and all of a sudden he seems kind of excited. He's like, so remember the other day, one of you, I think it was you, asked me about the history of Cassin and the history of the Everflame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me more about it.
Well, I found my book.
Oh, can I read it?
Well, I spent a chunk of the afternoon reading it, and I saw something that, well, I don't know if it'll help, but it seems important.
Tell me.
And he throws the book down on the table, and it's an old ancient tome. And when he tosses it onto the table, like dust kicks off from its covers. It's filled with dog-eared pages, and there's ribbons all over in it.
A well-loved book is a good book.
And he says that now this is a tale. This book is filled with tales of heroes from long ago, and there's lots of stuff in here, and most of it probably isn't really of any use. But there's one bit in here that talks about Ekat Cassin. Ekat Cassin was the man who founded this town.
Ekat Cassin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was his name. His name was Ekat. And Cassin, well, he was an adventurer before he settled down and founded this town, and he went on many adventures, and he got a lot of riches, and he did lots of daring things, and I don't. Oh, sorry. And he says, well, I don't really know all of them, but there was one in here, and there's a number of tales about him in here, but there's one in here in particular that talks about the Everflame, and I thought it was really weird because so the Everflame is just a torch. That's all it is. It's a torch mounted in the wall of Cassin's tomb. Now that tomb is far to the south of here. Well, I mean, it's not far. It's like a day's ride. And in the tomb, that's where he was buried. And he was buried there with a whole bunch of bandits and stuff that attacked the town. And they killed him, and he killed the bandit leader. And we found out later that the bandit leader was an old friend of his. It's a long story, but suffice to say, that's where we would send the youngins on their rite of passage, and that's where the tragedy happened when that bandit leader came back from the dead on a blood vengeance, and well, the kids put the bandit leader to the sword and put him back in the grave, but we lost some townsfolk who were setting up the traps and stuff like that. They got ambushed, and well, you know the rest of the story. It was my fault.
What? Okay.
So The flame. Let me get back to the flame. So the Everflame. We would send the kids there. It was part of our harvest ritual, and we would send them there with the torch. And their job was to light the Everflame. They would bring a special lantern, and they would use it to go to the Everflame, and the Everflame never is extinguished. And it's a hot burning fire, but it never goes out. And you would light the lantern from it, and then bring it back to town, and we would keep the Everflame lit all winter as a symbol of the community's togetherness.
But you didn't this year, did you?
And you haven't for
No, but we haven't for a decade now, not since anyone died, and we didn't do it every year then either. It was only when there were kids growing. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Listen, the thing that was important is in this book, the Everflame is described, and it's not described as a torch. And I was like, that's really weird, because it's described as a weapon.
Whoa!
As a sword.
Sword.
And he flips open the book, and there is a kind of an illustration, like a woodcut illustration. And it's an illustration of this bearded, hale warrior in simple armor with kind of a half cloak, standing above a small hillock overlooking a river, and he's holding forth a sword. And the weird thing about the sword is that the end of the sword looks like the basket of a torch. So if you were to flip it upside down, it would look like a torch. So he's holding it, and the torch is down, and the flame is pouring out of it and rising up the blade. And he is holding it, and he's like... And he turns the book around and covers up the sword, and he says, now doesn't that look like a torch?
Oh, it's just stuck in the wall. It's a sword of light. Oh my god, that's really good.
Now, I thought that was really interesting and everything, and I mean, that's really cool, you know, hey, there's a cool sword. And, you know, adventurers like swords, and I was going to show it to you, and, you know, but there was this phrase, and it said this, and he turns to a couple pages later, and he says, and Eckart's flame never faltered, not from the day he found the flame in the forsaken vault. The burning blade was a shining light against the dark, laying to rest those who had risen.
Wait, quick question. What is this? Sorry. I'm a little drunk. What is this Forsaken Vault?
So I kept reading, right? Because I then started to go back to try and find more. But that sentence, that is what made me think there was something to this. So I went further back, and I there's a whole lot and a lot of stories. But apparently the sword, it went by other names in the past, but it looks like it was a holy relic.
Do you know of anyone who ever wielded this sword? I mean, this sounds like it
Can I do a sort of a religious / dwarven lore check?
You could do a religious check. You're not sure dwarven lore would help you.
But I mean, like, has my family talked about this?
Hang on.
I've been...
You can try.
Before you do that,
You could try an occult check.
I'm gonna light my incense. And I do a religion check as well, so that we will both be in this incense.
Yeah, as you're lighting it, he's like, yeah, the holy text described it as a holy relic of the dawn flower.
It's Aaron Ray's sword! Oh my god, I'm gonna cry all over again. Oh!
Keep it together.
Okay,
But
no, you're right.
but it's gone through terrible trials. Many have tried to destroy the blade over the years, and it describes here that at one point in time, vile fiends from deep below the earth came up, boiled out of the deep underground, and stole the blade, hoping to destroy it. That's how Ekat found it. He was down there adventuring with his fellow boon companions, and he says that as if he read it in a book and doesn't actually know what it means. And he's like, and he retrieved it and bore the blade to his passing day. And Well, that story doesn't comport with the story that I have about the history of the town that doesn't even mention it as a sword. It just says that when he was buried, the town folk at that time put the Everflame above his tomb. But it seems like we didn't actually know what that meant.
It is very possible also that they knew exactly what it was, but they wanted to keep it
Hiding it.
from falling into the wrong hands.
Wait.
This is the most. I could kiss you. I won't, but I could.
Have I
He
heard
blushes.
of a sword similar going by a different name?
Sure.
Good. That is very good. I can see the wheels in her head turning.
32.
You have heard of a blade once called, and this is in ancient lore, called the Radiant Gaze. That sounds like it might match the description, but you don't know too much about it because it is like an ancient piece of Serenray lore. It is possible that this blade, if it's the one that you're thinking of, apparently those who believed in the blade could share its flame, and it would protect them, and also their gaze could burn away those who transgressed against the Dawnflower.
It's a really cool sword. If it's the one I'm thinking of, which it might not be, you never know. Honestly, there's a lot of swords in lore. There is this one. Never mind.
But if it is possible for us to find this weapon and use it, we must absolutely do that.
That would be incredible.
And you should definitely start where Eclat was.
We should
Cat. We have to go to his tomb.
We would need it from you, a detailed map of where this tomb is. Because
I'm
I think
so
that we
excited
have
I'm
a
going to
mission.
puke.
Please do not do that. If the hands.
Mage hand.
Oh, thank you. Never mind. We've got it covered.
Yeah.
He says, well, I can dig around. I think I got a map back at home. It's the map we used to give to the kids.
Yes,
That is good enough.
we need it.
If kids can follow it, then we can.
Oh, it was pretty easy. I mean, it was meant to just be like, go here, go there, go there. I mean, they're kids. They don't actually know how to navigate in the wild. I mean, most of them can barely tie their shoes.
But I am just saying, if they can follow it, then so can we.
Yeah. No, you'll find it easy. So do you think it'll help?
I think it will.
Definitely.
More than help.
Even if it doesn't help,
You-
that's really cool. We would have a very cool sword in our
It's the best chance we've got.
And damn it, I will say it. You are a masterful man.
Yes.
He blushes. He turns beet red, and he's like, "Oh, listen, she was the one who asked for the book. I just found it."
I'm just curious. I didn't do anything, but
You have to learn to take a compliment.
yes,
On that, he turns even more red.
listen.
If he turns more red, he may end up having some sort of aneurysm. It's not good for him. He's
have a
already been
doctor in the
drinking a
house,
lot.
it's fine.
Would it be
She can
okay
fix that.
if I read this book?
To be clear, the book is like this thick.
Yes.
But he's like, well, I can show you the parts that talk about Cassin.
But I can't take it and read it.
It is a really...
Well, I mean, it's if you really want to. I mean, it's a family heirloom.
Oh no. Okay. No, I'd feel too bad. No. And
I mean, if you keep it safe, I trust you.
okay.
He kind of hands the book over to you.
Oh, it's a big baby. Okay.
Yeah, it weighs a lot. It is not a light book.
Maybe it is possible that what we do is we give you the chance, since you seem to have sobered up enough, but are still pretty wasted. Maybe you go upstairs and if you begin reading and get some rest.
Yes. Oh. I have to go find someone. I'll be right back. And she stumbles back into the tavern with the book in hand. Just.
Is this someone you need to find? Al K. Hall?
My good friend, Jaeger.
Oh, I'm sorry
I
for that, everyone.
I want to try and
It's
find
late. I'm sorry.
Father Prost.
All right. You go back inside to find Father Prast. Is anyone else doing anything at this point? I mean, yeah,
Follow her. Just
We're in the tavern, aren't we?
to be clear, you were actually already inside.
We're here.
Right, because
Oh,
you
we
were all up
were.
at the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, yeah.
But that's okay.
I
You
am-
still have to
that's
go
okay.
find Father Prass because
Yeah.
he's not here.
You're so drunk, you walk out, then walk right back in.
and then come back in. I'm like, wait.
I'm definitely going with
But I think that
Alright.
Father Press is probably at the temple.
All right, then I'm
Give you
heading.
a charge. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was here at the start of the celebrations. He had
I saw
one very modest mug of ale and some food. He celebrated with folks, and then he went to go deal with his
Strong
charges.
soldier.
I think I'm going to start mobilizing the people in the I don't know how long this will take, but I will try to stall as long as possible. But I think it's getting to a point late enough in the night that maybe it would be a good idea to head down and maybe hold our vigil for Holgast at this point. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, that is a good idea.
Let's do that.
Especially before people get too deep into their cups.
Yeah. So I will. I think I don't
hasn't
know how long
already
your errand will take. I don't want you to miss it.
I have to ask a few questions, and that's it. I just have to have a conversation.
All right. So you begin gathering the right people, friends of Holgast, to go down to see his funeral pyre. Then the two of you, Inculus and
Ridiculous.
Sunshine.
Iculus, and
Sunshine Squad.
Sunshine Squad! Look at that. Yeah.
I demand that you wear different color shirts. All right.
Coordinating.
So the two of you make your way over to the temple and arrive there just as the father is kind of making sure everyone's properly been put to bed and is like blowing out candles so people can sleep, because there are still refugees sleeping here from Everstand.
Father.
He comes out to the front door and he's like, "Shh, yes, what is it?"
Is there a place we can have a conversation?
He's like, well, my office is in the back. Why don't you walk around back and meet me at the back door?
Okay.
Because I don't want to disturb everyone. They're sleeping.
Sure, we understand.
So he goes through and he meets you at the back door and opens it up, and it leads into his kind of overstuffed office filled with like holy scripts from like 9 different religions, kind of all over the place. They're stacked up high. Most of it's Erastil, but there's holy books from almost every deity here. Well, every goodly deity. And he's like, "Oh, please, come in, sit." He looks at you and he says, "I'm afraid I can't cure."
No.
Drunkenness.
I'm not here for
We're
that.
not for that.
Oh,
We're not here for that.
First of all,
He's like, "First of all, you should enjoy your night."
I sort of did. I had a very bad dream. I also kind of want to tell you about that, but that's not as important. I want to borrow that Sarenrae tome, if I may. I want to refresh my memory on some things.
Of course. He provides you one of the. It's really just kind of a chapbook of. It's not a very exhaustive tome. It's mostly just prayers and hymns.
Just to have it. You're about to learn an awful lot about me, but I am drunk enough that I don't care. As long as you don't tell anybody and you don't try and kill me or something.
Your secret is safe with me.
Excellent. I hope I get to see your face someday. Anyways, you know about my heritage. My parentage, that's the word, my parentage, my father, specifically. And now I am very concerned.
He looks at you and says, "I have a guess."
Yeah, here's my main problem. I am very worried, terrified, to be honest, that I may be easily controlled by this lich because I am undead.
He looks at you and he smiles. You're not undead.
I'm very close to it.
Are you sure this is not just the alcohol?
No. So.
He reaches out and holds out his hand.
What is this for?
The same heart that beats in our bodies beats in yours.
Well, yes, but I'm worried that I may be more susceptible because my father was part vampire, and then I might be a danger to my friends, and I don't want to do that.
Part vampire.
Yes, he's what's called a Damthir.
He looks at you.
I told you,
He
secrets.
kind of has a kind of a knowing smile, and he just says, "Have faith in your heart. Have faith in Sarenrae. I can see her light shining through you. You're going to get through this. Don't let that darkness consume your soul. Let her light fill you.
I had a dream that it came for me, though.
That is our failing. We are human. That only proves that you are one of us. Our darkest fears, deepest scares, they are what come and plague us at the night. They gnaw at us. That's what makes us us. That worry, that doubt, that fear makes us strive to be better, to fight against it. The fact that you are here is all the proof that I need.
Okay, that's not awful lot of faith in me, Father. Thank you. I hope you're right. Listen, if I do anything bad, if something happens to me, if it manages to, I don't know, get inside my head or something, you take me down.
Linnaeus,
I mean it!
you've done nothing but heal.
I know, but this isn't just the drunk. This is me being worried. I don't want to hurt anybody.
I don't believe you have that inside of you. I see good in you. As the Father said, he said, we only human. We all have our faults. I've spent the last 20 years searching for vengeance over something that happened to my family. It's against my God's wishes. But I have to do it. Perhaps it's a flaw, I don't know. But I know that in the end, my God will smile down upon me, because as long as I stay doing good things along the way and helping others and taking care of others, I'll be okay. This is the most I've ever shared with anyone. Maybe it's because we wear the same colors. I don't know.
Sunshine Squad. We bring light into dark places.
That's what you do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Okay.
It's okay.
So, soon thereafter, everyone begins to gather down at the waterside for the final farewell to Holgast.
Tauriel, can I impose upon you to play one last song for him?
Oh, I would have played whether you asked me or not.
I do love your playing.
Very good.
Thank you, I do love to play.
Will you help me to push?
Of course.
I am not very strong. It is a failing of my my race. But I will do my best.
You're strong in your heart.
You push the barge out into the Tauriel River, a river that Holgast lived alongside his whole life. And it begins to carry him away on his last journey. Take out an arrow and light it.
You're strong where it counts.
You let loose. The arrow soars through the air and lands on the barge. It quickly takes light. Holgast his body slowly burns. The barge, lit aflame, slowly makes its way down the river. It's a lazy river. It's not a fast-moving river, so over several minutes he begins to float down and the fires consume him. In those flames, Jonark Uptill is there with you. He obviously came with. Arnamo is also there. A few other folks as well. Colvin has arrived. Lieutenant or Private Gelby has showed up. And a number of town folk as well. There's a lot of people here. And everybody is kind of gathered in their own clusters with friends and family as they pay their final respects. And but Jonark is kind of over near all of you. And he looks to you and he says, "So, I mean, are you going to go find it?
I think that is what we must do.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to...
I'm going to.
It's been a long time since I've sent anyone to the crypt of the Everflame.
But when we're sober, we are good.
Champions.
Yeah, that one, yes.
And we will bring honor to the name of Kassan.
And redemption.
And
The
Ellison.
Lastwall.
We'll bring Ellison's name with us.
And I show off the staff.
You got a new staff too.
That's beautiful.
It's Andla's. And now it is ours. We will carry her into battle with us.
You are going to do so much damage with that.
Here's something, I have not yet tried it yet. It's been a long time since I've worked with this staff.
In this somber moment, we have a number of adventurers standing around admiring a new awesome staff. Far off in the distance, the barge of Holgast continues to burn as it makes its final journey down the river, and slowly the waters begin to consume it. Jonark looks to all of you, and in the quiet gloom, as you all kind of stare as the last firelights die in your eyes, Jonark kind of looks at all of you and says, So I did good?
You did great.
And that is where we will end today's adventure. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to encourage you to tune in next week for another exciting session. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, you can learn more about the game at Pathfinder2ndEdition.com. The core rulebook, bestiary, along with a number of adventures and accessories are available right now from Paizo.com and from your favorite local game store. If you want to catch more of my adventures, you can find me every Thursday running the Oblivion Oath on the official Paizo Twitch stream at twitch.tv/officialpaizo. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.